Hello and welcome back to Off the Beaten Quest. There's a lot of D&D podcasts out there, but you chose this one. And everything's made up and the hit points matter. So last we left our people, we had interesting endeavors with learning about Flossidus and Eliana's family, as well as Saeble and Verity's patron. But we last left off where Saeble was walking through the halls of the Veiled Observatory and noticed that she was not where she was supposed to be. Whilst looking up at the stars, was in a field with a gentle breeze and flowing grass, standing across from a veiled figure. And this is where we pick back up. So, this dream is familiar, yet different. For as long as you've heard her voice, whispered moments of doubt, echoed in the silence before battle, she's never stood before you, never worn a form. And yet, tonight, as this vision takes shape, and you find yourself in the vast field of tall, silver grass swaying beneath an endless sky of stars, you feel the air is cool, carrying the scent of something old, familiar, something of the weave. As the gentle breeze stirs the grass, you see, there she is. Figure draped in midnight blue, veiled in shadow and starlight. She does not step forward. She doesn't need to, for she's always been near. You hear this soft voice, almost like the wind itself. How long you've walked with my whispers at your back. How often you've searched for my hand in the dark. And yet, only now do I step before you. Her voice is kind of layered. It's like two speaking at once. One distant, yet one close. The veil covering her face, it shifts slightly with the breeze. But never enough to see what lies beneath the veil. You've listened. You've trusted. Even when you doubted, you followed the pull of the unseen thread. For that I give you this moment, sight beyond voice, but not for my sake, for yours. How do you respond?
I guess Saeble would go up. Well, she's kind of close, right?
I mean, it's like about a few feet away. Yeah.
Okay, she would start walking that way, and I guess in a sassy way, kind of be like, okay, a gentle breeze, like these long, grassy tendrils. Like, are you trying to give me a heart attack?
She lifts her left hand, and a single silver thread kind of appears between her fingers, drifting like a strand of light caught in the wind. It pulses faintly like a heartbeat. She looks at you, says, "This is you, spun into the weave long before your first breath. You've walked alone, even when surrounded by many. But that time is ended." She kind of releases the thread, and it kind of vanishes, floating up, almost caught in the wind into the stars. And then as she watches it float up, she kind of turns the gaze back to you, and you see these the illumination of her eyes through the veil. You can sense a faint smile underneath the veil as she kind of kind of almost like gently like puts her hand like on the side of your face.
Saeble will put her hand over top of her hand.
And you feel, it's almost as if like you're like touching something with static electricity. You can feel the energy almost as like you touch. It almost feels like you have to like pull away because of the sensation that's kind of like rippling through, almost as if like when you hit your funny bone, it like, kind of runs through your arm. And you hear something deeper in her voice as she begins to speak again. Something with a level of certainty, perhaps sorrow. They have come, the ones whose threads knot with yours, whose steps shape the path ahead. You feel it already, don't you? The pull, the weight of what's to come. And you feel the wind kind of like shift amidst this whole like the grass rippling in the distance. There's kind of off into like almost like kind of dancing along the horizon is some like shadowy kind of figures moving faintly indistinct yet familiar. They resemble the group that you just met. The ones that fate has placed before you. She kind of puts her hand from your face and kind of outward. To walk away is to leave the tapestry unwoven, the pattern unfinished. Alone your thread is strong, but it will fray. Together, you will shape the unseen, bind what is broken, reveal what has been hidden.
They don't really trust me. And they're probably not going to trust me later, because when I was like marking off that bucket list number 32, I really wasn't thinking that being like a side tarot card performer was going to be destined to make me meet those things, creatures. Yeah.
Fate has its ways. You've trusted me this far.
Yeah. She
Have
kind of
faith.
tucks her hair.
Back in the sanctum.
Can I just cut in really quickly?
Yeah.
With the way that Saeble spoke to the Veiled One, I now see Nylea and the Veiled One having coffee in the morning going, what is up with this new generation? Why do they talk to us like this? So casually.
Back in the Veiled Observatory. Verity walks back into the main hall with Eira. And you both notice that Saeble is not in the main hall where you had left her. And you notice that Eliana is still with her family over with the Acolyte, kind of over by like one of the more of the shelves. They've kind of moved around a little bit, but
Where is Jax?
he's kind of like over sitting on like one of the benches, kind of like
Vibing.
he's like hanging out with Cole and like
Feeding them nuts.
Cole's kind of like doing one of those things where like he kind of like runs up his arm over his shoulders and kind of down the other arm, and it's kind of like their way of like playing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eira's gonna go over to Jax. Where's Saeble?
He like looks up, finally like looking around as if he hadn't really been paying attention to what anybody else was kind of doing. Just I don't know. I thought she was here with us, but
Is this like a big place? Like it's not.
It's
Okay.
like a very large. Essentially, like think maybe like 4 times the width of like an like a lighthouse as far as like cylindrically.
Mhm.
But it goes like it's like almost like it's a tower, so it's like an observatory. But
Yeah.
like kind of the cross between an lighthouse and observatory, where like
Yeah.
in this world, observatories would be, instead of just like a small like domed building on a mountain, this essentially is in the middle of the city. So it's like kind of having to keep up high.
Eira's not going to worry about it right now. Because she could have just gotten bored and just is looking around.
Okay.
She also could have been like, you know what? Fuck these guys. And just left. But she does look at Verity and like, are you okay?
I'm still a little stunned.
Yeah, you kind of renegotiated your deal with your pact and made your life harder.
I don't think it made it harder. I think it's going to make it better.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I can freely talk about things now.
Aren't you have to kill more people, though?
Not necessarily.
Here's a question. If we're killing people, like we're fighting a group of people, can I just, like, save people and then you just come around and just take them all? Like would that count? Or is it only, like, specific people
I mean,
he tells you to take? Or is a soul a soul? It doesn't matter.
there's certain people I will have to kill.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as long as souls are being given or taken.
It might be better.
Yes.
Roll a history check.
Maybe. Possibly.
Well, as she says that, Eira in her head's thinking, cool. I'm going to kill all the big guys. She can have all the little ones. Nice.
I always can never find... That would be a 12.
12.
Yeah.
You do recall that if it was that easy, you would have known by now. There's a little more to it than that.
On second thought... Maybe, maybe not. I'm not quite sure. We'll figure it out as we go.
Let's test the theory.
Yeah, we'll test it.
We won't pick a fight, but the next time one just organically stumbles upon us.
Kind of like what happened in Bloom Kingdom with the undead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out like that.
Yeah.
That'll be for later.
Gee, thanks.
Coin of
Cool.
Doom.
Coin of Doom?
Yeah. I guess, like,
50-50.
Eira's just gonna sit with Jax, like, giving him and Cole space to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not in a rush for Eliana.
And you see that Jax is kind of like, it's like changed to like him like taking like a kind of like a peanut, like with his thumb flicking it up, and like Jax or Cole's like jumping into the air to like grab it. You and your family.
Good.
How's that conversation going?
I guess I'm just trying to fuel as much like factual things about Flossidus to my mom as possible, because she's a very like, I mean, I might call her like a logical thinker, but very like stuck in her beliefs. So like she would need a lot of evidence against like to change her mind.
I'm going to have you roll for investigation, and I'm going to roll a d20 for history.
Okay.
You're still going to add both of your modifiers, but I'm going to roll the second one as far as like lore.
Okay, the first one you said.
So yours will be investigation.
That's only a 12. Wait. Since I didn't know we were, like, researching stuff, I guess.
You're looking through what the Acolyte is presenting to you as far as, like, what they know of
Okay.
the God of the Stars, Flossidus, anything that could have been about what happened with her back then.
So, yes?
Can I ask a clarifying question from before the party split?
Yeah.
Did we know that she was going to be doing research?
No. Again, not necessarily.
Okay.
The Acolyte took the family members and her off to the side to kind of show what they have in their archives and their records.
Oh, okay. Because I wanted to give you a potion of supreme intelligence that would give you a intelligence score of 20 for an hour with advantages on any intelligence saving throws, when history being an intelligence thing. But if not, that's fine. I've literally had it since like session 3.
Yeah, because Cindy found it.
Yeah, I've had it forever.
I mean, I'll allow it.
Okay.
So I slipped that to you before, so that would be...
You gave it to her as like a just in case.
Yeah.
You needed to like
'Cause I was-
stump your parents as far as like
Yeah.
one up them with knowledge.
Look at this,
Yeah.
Mom!
Facts.
Told you! Their friend died.
Yeah.
Everyone else saw them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, okay, cool. So then instead of, because I was going to ask if I could cast enhance ability, which would give me advantage on investigation, but if I already have the potion, then,
I mean, you technically can do both.
because you said the potion also gives me advantage.
It gives your intelligence score to a 20
20.
Yeah.
for an hour.
Okay.
So it's if you don't want it, you know, it would give you what is it, like a +5?
Yeah, it's a plus
Your intelligence.
5 as far as her intelligence modifier.
I
Mhm.
will drink the potion, and I will also why can't I find it? I know I literally prepped it specifically for today because I knew we were going to the Veil place. Where is he?
Take that out of my inventory.
Girly pop.
And anything to burn through these potions that you were given 30 sessions ago.
Yeah.
60 sessions ago.
Yeah, relatively
Oh
so,
my
yeah.
God,
it was
yeah.
back in the dungeon under the college, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Long time ago.
Yeah, that was like session like in the teens.
When DM was super generous
Yeah.
gift giving.
Cool. Here we go. This is what I wanted. So I get advantage on that.
Your first one's investigation, and I rolled your history. I still haven't told you what I rolled.
So for my investigation with advantage, I rolled a 19 plus 5, so a 24.
Okay.
Yes.
The history check was a natural 20. I've just been sitting over here, no big deal. Like, not to undersell it or anything,
No.
but
Plus 5 because of the intelligence modifier.
okay. So you find essentially like with this acolyte, you're kind of looking through things, and because of your knowledge of what you've experienced, the things that the party has kind of endured, given what Thanatura, what you know about Flossidus, so essentially like a lot of the holes that this place would have, you're kind of able to fill in the gaps. Through this, you explain to both your mothers and your sister that through Thanatura has been posing as Florenia for what could be decades, given your age, your parents' age, things like that nature of how long the village has worshipped Florenia, things like that. And that she essentially, much like what Flossidus has done, it's safe to assume that the previous god of nature that was Flossidus, Florenia, could have been killed, taken over their position, assumed the roles, things like that. Given that Thanatura is a bit of a usurper, and that the reason that Thanatura was doing anything that she was doing was to solidify her vitality. As the god of natural death, her aging was different than that of other gods. She aged just the same as the people she resided over. And so the goal, at least from what you've seen in the first hands in battle and with Flossidus, was to restore her vitality. And through belief and taking energy and vitality from the god of the stars, she was able to restore her youth before she was ultimately extinguished from this existence. Flossidus, you're able also to tell your parents and them and your sister that Flossidus, from what Eira has told you about the things of the past and the downfall of Mara and things, that Flossidus, and this is some of the archives that they have as well. So essentially, like, they're learning a lot of this from the books, from what you're telling them, things like that. So it's a combination. So it's not just all your firsthand knowledge. It's some of it and half and half. But that Flossidus essentially was the one that told the gods that she or they would give up their dominion to allow magic to freely flow from the weave to the people of Aarencia, given that the gods were prepared to cut them off, given everything that happened with Mar and the vacuum that kind of was created in that area of this part of the world of Aarencia. And in doing so, she kind of opened the gates back up by allowing this kind of disbursement of her kind of celestial energy and things. It's through the, not necessarily just your belief or potentially your sisters just believing in the stars and things of that nature, that there's somebody that's kind of ruling over that dominion. The Veiled Observatory and places a lot like that in Aarencia kind of allowed for her to kind of reform in a new circumstance where she now exists amidst the prior, where those gates are staying open and she's allowed to exist without kind of one affecting the other. And because of this, you've now, helped the observatory create a new set of like archives, scrolls, things like that, where Flossidus now is not only the domain of the stars, but over the domain of natural death, and is allowed kind of almost as if she is the kind of guide on the like stars version of the River of Styx, so to speak, of like how people pass on and things like that, and allowing it to go into the cycle of rebirth, re-existence, kind of death, and kind of guide them without some of the pain and things that could come from the gods of like death and murder and things that would still exist. Because of this kind of transference of power, it's allowed Thanatura to stay kind of gone. Most of the time, gods, when they leave a domain, they reform if it's not their home domain, things like that. But because of that, when you took her out, like it was done deal. As far as the ripple effect in the Celestials, that's still to be determined. There's a lot left unsaid. A lot of things that this acolyte essentially is kind of alluding to, giving you this knowledge of when dominions change hands, there is a level of, there's a different process that kind of goes amidst the Celestials. It's like way above, for lack of a better phrase, it's above their pay grade as well as yours. Like there's a lot of gray area as far as like, hey, like, you took this dominion. It's like you can't just have a land grab because gods would just be killing themselves essentially to like have one god that rules everything. So again, that's to be determined, and you're kind of learning that from this acolyte as well. And like as I said before, the role that I had you do last session indicated that it was for persuasion, and that your parents were starting to believe you given the sheer just amount of facts that were being like uncovered, talked about. There's again like a lot of puzzle pieces are being put together between like the kind of two like sets of knowledge, and all the while this acolyte is essentially like taking so much of this down. Like they're essentially able to,
like I am with my notes right now.
Yeah.
Fucking scribbling.
Essentially they're able to like educate so much more people, given like that like follow the stars, that follow that kind of level of like astrology, that dominion, things like that. And I will say, I'm going to give you heroic inspiration because you are essentially helping shape what is known as the Circle of the Stars. And the religion that is worshiping the stars itself, because
cool
you're having such a ripple effect on how the religion is evolving, that belief system, it's just carrying on, and you're kind of paving this way, not necessarily again, to be clear, not like a messiah or any kind of things like that,
Right, yeah.
but it's very much so you're helping shape what is going to be known as this kind of following as far as druids, just people in general that believe in the stars versus other pantheons or the things that they subscribe to and things like that.
Are you going to be head of the circle? Are you keylifting this?
Who knows?
Eliana is just like kind of like looking at both her moms and like especially at like Fiona, because like her mom is a priestess of like the temple. She's like, am I gonna be my mom? Like the priestess like guiding, like, yeah, that's going through her head.
And the acolyte looks at Fiona as she says, is there a way that I can potentially have a copy of, and like there's like she's like holding a book that's kind of talking about the stars and like the worship and things like that. And she says, because I have a lot to learn if I'm going to take this back to my temple and teach the people of our village. And she kind of puts her hand like on your shoulder. And
Mom.
we're going to need a way to contact each other, because I'm sure I'm going to have questions.
Yeah.
So before we leave,
There's these great sending stones that we've been using.
because I'm not going to say that you need to come back with us, because you clearly have, and she looks around, like the people still in the room and things like that, and you kind of almost see that it's like her looking around kind of almost metaphorically, that like you seem to be doing a lot of good here, that it'd be selfish of me to take you away from all that.
I'm certainly trying.
And she looks at her wife and says, it seems that we have a lot of work to do. And you see this like look on Lillian's face that's almost this like big sister, like proud moment almost, that it's like that thing that like big sisters get when they look at their little sister and is like, okay, there's a lot that I could learn from the things that you're doing, and like, okay.
Justin! I like look to my parents and I'm like,
I'm sorry that, our real Florenia has to have passed, but Flossidus seems like she's pretty capable of taking on that challenge.
Who knows? And this is the acolyte talking, that there are other gods of nature that potentially could assume this equal dominion, if the other kind of, a lot of them do overlap in certain circumstances, so I can see why it was easy for Thanatura to try to,
Yeah, my friend, she I don't know if you would say she worships her, but she believes in her. Like she's in her court, Nylea.
Ah, yes. I would assume that, and I would think that your passive perception, it's like 18, right?
your
yeah.
elf ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your large ears. I would think that like your hearing, your perception is very attuned to, like, if somebody's talking about Nylea, it's very much like if somebody says your name in the same room, you're kind of like, you kind of are easily overhearing things.
Is there like anything on the walls, art with a piece of paper to read, or anything that could make my way over without like journey? Just like,
I mean, this room is filled with like artifacts and
she
different
just makes
things.
her way over to something
Yeah.
that's not too close.
Like nearby, so you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't need to use the passive perception. It just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. Yeah, yeah.
Hands behind her back. All yours probably like on her head.
Yeah. So you overhear like kind of them talking about Nylea and nature and things, and
I'm surprised we didn't, think about Nylea. I guess we were on a different plane. Different deities are, more prominent in places. She seems pretty good, though.
Well, and nevertheless, I think that, the gods have some things to sort out themselves, that given
Yeah.
a lot of things changing hands, that there could be some interesting effects on the realm. So it's easy to be... It's best that we keep a lookout and be prepared for whatever's to come.
Okay. I thought we were tying that up, but it's okay.
Well, it's not... I apologize. It's not to sound as ominous as I meant it to be, but
Oh.
it's something where that, there's a reason that one god doesn't rule over everything. There's
Right.
a lot of divisions of responsibilities and things between those.
A balance of power.
Right, checks and balances and all that.
Yes.
So I would assume that, given that there is a god of nature that has been being posed as, or other gods could already be taking up those mantles. We just didn't notice until now. Especially if this Thanatura has been posing as this god without ever even taking control of that domain. So probably and he looks around. He's like, that's probably the reason things haven't fallen to shit yet. All things considered.
Fair enough. I do have a question. So, we have a new acquaintance.
Yes.
And she apparently abides by the Veiled One. This is called the Veiled Observatory, so I'm assuming you might know something about that god.
The names are similar, but unfortunately they are merely tangential.
Oh.
Fate and the stars are not necessarily the same.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the world works, and life and death, and the circle of all that. It's not our jurisdiction, so to speak. But it is a true... and again, I'll piggyback off the previous just because it was pretty high, perception, investigation and history check. You remember seeing a statue that was on top of the place that you went to put your friend to rest.
Mm-hmm.
That there was a statue for life, death, rebirth, and fate. And from a distant glance, because you guys were on the ground, it was pretty far up. You could make out that one of them had a veil or something covering its face.
Okay. But it wasn't that was not the representation for all of those, because that's at first
No.
how I had thought it. Okay.
These were 4 different statues,
Okay.
all looking different.
What was the one for death?
You couldn't see that one.
Okay. I was like,
We haven't gotten that far yet.
So, where would I be able to learn more about... Do you know if this god is, trustworthy?
I mean...
They seem pretty official if they have a
You-
statue.
believe in fate. I mean, fate can be good,
Yeah.
it can be bad. There's a lot of chance that comes along with that circumstance.
So they're a chaotic god.
I would subscribe it to be chaotic neutral at best.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
and in your character's common sense would put together that the Sanctum of the Final Dawn, where you guys were,
right.
would have more knowledge on
Mhm.
the whole concept of that part of the pantheon of life, death, rebirth, things like that. But yeah,
Is there a meditation room in here?
there is. We have many meditation rooms and places that one can calm one's thoughts.
Okay. Kind of want to try and commune, It's been, she's had a rough last day, so maybe she won't want to talk, but... Mom, did you guys want to sit in on that and see if
Are you going to try to commune with Flossidus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
You can...
I want you to meet my moms.
Taking her home to see the parents. It's getting serious.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they essentially would probably agree to, like, go to one of these meditation chambers. There's a lot of, like, tangential rooms that kind of are, like, different rooms for that kind of nature. They're kind of more insulated, kind of amidst the walls, kind of almost like kind of, I think, like, the way that the shelves in the kind of room is thing, these alcoves would kind of be, like, either, like, bedrocked onto the stairs or in, like, thicker parts of these walls, so that way, like, a lot of the natural sound is encased around it. It's almost like, think of these as, like, almost like walk-in closets, but with much more, a little bit more room, places to sit.
Like a phone room.
Yeah, essentially like that. Something where you, like, it would be tight, but you guys could all potentially fit in there and like, kind of, like, sit down and stuff. It's like those, like really bougie walk-in closets that have, like, the fucking, like, chairs in the middle and stuff, or you can, like, sit down and, like, there's, like, this, like, circle chair, and then there's things all around it and stuff like that. So essentially, yes, and it's got, like, the, so do you take them to one of those rooms? Is that kind of your next? Okay. The room itself has a lot of, like, incense. The lighting is very calm, almost as if it's, like, very dim lighting to like, calm all the senses. There's the colors of the room and stuff are very, like, dark colors to kind of give that sense of calmness, quiet. The sound is very clear. There's not a lot of echo or things like that. There is, like, different, like, kind of, like, like pillows on the ground to kind of sit and meditate. Things like that.
Can I sit in, like, the middle?
Sure.
And take a little seat.
And
You guys can take a spot wherever you feel.
and your kind of family almost, like, kind of sits in this, like, kind of almost like triangle kind of around where you are. And I would think too that, like, it's almost like if it's like one's here, one's here, one's here, you're kind of in the middle, but, like, forward just a little bit, enough that, like, potentially if you wanted to, that, like, you all could, like, kind of hold hands in, like, this, like, kind of circle that kind of connects all of you and connects your chakras and stuff.
Yes.
Love that.
Through different points in your kind of the way that flows through the body. So you all sit down to meditate. Eira and Verity, you're still in this room. What is it that you are doing?
Eira's just like eavesdropping. She's like, oh, bye.
Okay. Eira's mind is like, she's acknowledged what's happened with Verity. Now she's lost in thought about the whole being in danger thing, and that she's not safe.
From what you experienced before.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I think that her guard is up, just like she's not really allowing her back to be turned to any open doorways, walkways, the greater room.
Very much sitting in chairs that are facing the...
No, she's not sitting, because then that puts her in a more vulnerable spot than if she stands. She reacts
Just in more of
slower.
a metaphorical sense, where you're kind of keeping yourself in positions of
Yeah.
advantage. And
Yeah, I mean, she wants to go to the Mangrove Sanctorum to, like, talk to, or try to speak with Nylea after everything, but now doesn't feel like the right time.
Okay.
So, she has a lot going on in her head.
Okay.
So,
You're kind of, like, lost in thought. What are you doing in this moment, Verity?
sure.
Well, not like that, but you're kind of... There's a lot of thoughts going
There's-
through.
yeah, there's-
you're
there's-
working through a lot.
A lot going on upstairs.
Normally Verity would like a cool kid lean against a wall. In this scenario, learning that her father is alive and not dead.
Yes.
I imagine she is sitting and just completely like similar to Eira, like lost in thought, trying to like contemplate what all that means, what might happen.
Okay.
Very nervous about it all. And also wondering what the heck her father did to piss off a fiend.
Verity? Nervous?
Me?
No.
Never.
No.
Never.
Never, of course not. No. She's absolutely confident in every possible way.
Back in this vision,
Vision, but I'm there. Like I'm somewhere else. I'm not.
you're essentially,
Okay.
you feel as if you're somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay.
As if whisked away somehow. So, she has just told you that you kind of being with the others is important, that you can't walk away, given that, like, there's a little bit more to it than that. And she says to you, it's almost as if there's a lot of weight in her voice. Not just knowing, but a warning. There is an eye upon this world, watching, waiting, turning its gaze to where none should tread. Its sight poisons, distorts, and bends what is into what is should never be. The wind and the stars, once so distant, feel so close now. As if the world, like this vision around you, just feels like a lot of things. It's like, it doesn't feel like as much of an expanse as it did when you first arrived. But yet the field around you seems endless. Almost as if metaphorically the weight of something is kind of pushing down on this world. You're standing in the middle of it, at least right now. I don't mean to be so formal, all things considered, the time that we've spent together. But as I've watched your interactions with these people, I felt it best to put things into perspective and give you a more accurate picture of what is to be woven into the world.
So you want me to be with this group, and then with the group, is there like a certain path I should be looking at?
Fate has placed you where you must be. Not for mere wanderings, not for idle chance. You and those who walk beside you must be the hand that blinds this eye. Blade that cuts its sight from the weave before all is undone. She lifts her hand again, and once more that thread kind of appears in her fingers. But as she's kind of talking about the things that she was like saying, that the ends seem frayed, straining as though if something unseen is pulling at its ends, trying to unravel it. This group will lead you to where you need to be. Nothing more, nothing less. It's as if they are your guiding compass. And you, but the captain at the helm. Let the wind carry you where it needs to. And they'll help you stray away from the rocks that could alter your path. I've not led you astray before.
No, I trust you.
The threads that are being pulled at do not bind through secrecy. Hidden thread cannot weave the pattern, a hidden flame cannot light the way. So you must not Hide yourself away from them. Hide who you are. Who I know you to be. You carry this, the breeze kind of kicks up again, and you carries this scent of rain, symbolizing change, renewal. The veil kind of stirs around her face. It's still, she remains unseen. You fear revealing what lies beneath your own veil. You think the path is easier if they see only what you choose to show them. But fate does not move in half-truths. Neither must you. Show them who you are. Show them the truth of your soul. It is the will of fate.
Fate. It's always fate with you.
That is my domain.
I know. You look pretty, by the way.
Oh.
Thank you.
She looks down. Like she did not. Red.
Our words have never fallen on deaf ears. You've always heeded my word, my advice, my suggestions, and my jokes. She says in this kind of soft, final, yet kind of trailing words. The loom has turned, and I have stepped from the mist, where you are needed, and there is no time left for doubt. The threads must be woven before they are torn apart. And she kind of gets closer to you a little bit, and you see the veil lift only slightly to see kind of like her chin, and she kisses your forehead. And you feel this kind of like almost like tugging on the back of your cloak as it like doesn't fade like other dreams. It just kind of lingers for a moment before the wind and the stars and the grass kind of all like kind of almost like rush kind of away from you. And you see just before everything kind of comes to this sliver of a single thread kind of resting in your palm. It kind of like little like kind of things of like a dandelion would as you try to close your fingers around it. And as she kisses your, just before this all happens, the kiss on your forehead, the cheeks feel warm and cold all at the same time. Almost as if an ice cube so cold that it kind of burns slightly. But again, it's that level of kind of energy, magic, that kind of almost as if like trying to touch like electricity, where it's like it's something where it feels odd, like a tingle. And as everything rushes away, you see yourself kind of walking out of a corridor, almost like returning to the main hall. Blushing a little bit, but walking in as if you were coming from an adjoining room. And you find yourself back with the rest of the group in the main hall of the observatory.
Wah.
And you see that this group that before you had, as you walked in all together, now seems kind of sitting in different parts of the room, kind of separate from one another and lost in thought. How do you proceed?
Is there like library manners here?
Oh no.
Well, she's gonna ignore them. She's gonna go, yoo-hoo! Can we talk? And she's gonna look straight at Jax.
Okay.
Worst choice, but go for it.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll go up to him and his pet.
Okay.
And then, what was that?
Squat.
It's a squat. Go up to him and his sweat. And then I'm going to turn my head because I know that these two probably heard me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to try to wave them over if they want to. They don't have to.
Do you approach?
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, we're not missing this.
Okay.
So, I was wondering, can we talk? Just real quick. Like, we don't have to do it here. We can do it, like, somewhere a little quieter and maybe less people around.
You just do voices now? Is that your nervous voice? 'Cause I have one too.
Oh my gosh! Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'll explain it later. Honestly.
Is that
Just-
your actual voice?
What do you mean? Is this my actual voice?
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. What's up? What's up?
Well, should we talk here? Or should we get the weather one?
She
The one with the...
Eliana? Her name's Eliana.
Eliana?
She's with her family.
Oh.
And from what I overheard earlier, her family will be going back to the Feywild soon. So I'm going to give her every last minute.
I will not interrupt that for sure.
I mean,
That's her doing a fake accent.
It's like, which voice is yours?
if you need to say something, Jax kind of looks around. This place is probably as safe as any, I guess.
Trust me, we will tell Eliana. Don't worry about that.
Okay. This sounds good to me, if it's good to you guys. So basically I found this little tarot deck in my attic. It's been in there since my parents died when I was 16, and I just found it on my 28th birthday, and I went up into my little attic because I heard like this pretty little hum, and the Veiled One spoke to me, and she showed me how I'd die. So basically, I've known how I was going to die for about a year now. So I made like this little bucket list of everything I wanted to do before I die. But... which explains the accent, because I was doing a bucket list thing. I didn't know that I was going to matter to you guys, or that you would matter to me, I guess. I mean, because it was just for fun. I was just being a performer on the street, you know?
Can you get to your point?
Yeah, gosh, rushing.
Like your accent.
Eira.
But don't get it Russian. Like, why are you Russian?
Where was I?
You know how you were going to die for a year. You didn't think you were going to like
yeah,
us.
I didn't. Well,
I didn't think
No,
you were
I
going to
didn't.
matter.
yeah.
Same thing.
Okay, whatever. You think I like you? I will, because you're pretty and cool, but still. Like, anyway. Anyway. Basically, I know how I'm going to die. Or I thought I did. But now I'm thinking that if I go with you guys, I can help you guys not die before I die.
How do you know for sure how you're going to die?
I saw it.
But isn't that not how fate works? I thought fate worked like it shows you what would happen if that specific set of circumstances played out, but fate can always change.
Well, the thing about my deity is I am following her exact path to my death. I know how it's going to end, and I'm
Old?
trusting her.
Are you going to be old?
I don't know. I didn't really see myself. It was more so...
Fire and death?
No, it was quite peaceful. There was wind chimes. But anyway, that's besides the point.
It's not violent.
It's
Yeah.
not violent. Yeah. See, I'm good for you guys. Anyway, my my fate string hair follicle thing is very like fraying and thin. And then with you guys, and we weave together, we become such a strong piece of hair, like keratin. We're good for each other.
What is keratin?
It's something to do with vegetables, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And that's Jack's.
Yeah. Anyway,
So what you're saying is you need us.
I think so. I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
If you want.
I mean, been helpful thus far, I guess. All
Got
things
a quick
considered.
change of heart.
I mean, I helped fucking Eliana with her stuff. I don't know.
And I
Hasn't
did.
really helped me or you guys, but
Well, dear, in order to receive help, you must be first open to it.
Well.
it's like rolls his eyes. Just remember you said that.
I'm open to it.
What? What, Jackson?
Laughs.
What?
Don't get all insecure now.
Again, remember you said that. The proof is in the pudding, folks.
Verity just sticks her hand, just like,
All I have to say is that we find ourselves in precarious situations more often than not. And I need you to be able to take care of yourself, because I can't take care of you and myself.
Well, I've taken care of myself this far. I owned a business.
How does owning a business and, I don't know, fighting a god compare?
I don't know. I know how to, like, take care of my teeth and wash my hair. And I know how to talk to people. And that's a skill that
Wait, are we fighting
I
more
guess
gods?
you have.
Maybe. Who knows?
Well,
Why would we fight more gods?
We could be fighting my
I
brother
sure
soon. Who
fucking
knows?
Hope not.
you have a brother?
Oh, that's the other thing. There was a sense of impending doom.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like,
Maybe next time lead with that.
if
MBD.
I don't know what we gotta do, but we gotta do it soon because it was really heavy.
Well, what's super interesting about that was, dear, when... Who was I with? Was it Verity? Was that the thing with? Is that you?
What thing?
With the little
Yes.
boy.
Yeah, it was Verity
Yeah.
and Saeble.
When we
You-
left,
you three were together.
the
She was there.
educator guy,
He pushed all three of you out the door, so you all three
His-
were there.
talking to Jax.
Oh, I didn't know you were looking at her.
I'm looking at you!
It's in the same eye line.
The kid shoved us out the door and said to me that I am not safe here. There is literally only one reason I'm aware of to why I would not be safe somewhere.
Okay.
You know how Lukiel panicked over the chance of your old clan popping through?
The tribe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call it a clan, more of a tribe, but
You're like druidic
anyway.
clan, circle,
Tribe.
whatever.
Tribe's a better word. Let's just go with that.
He's
Whatever.
Jax.
I'm just saying,
I get
Whatever.
it.
Well, there's a chance, possibly, maybe, that all the stuff that my brother has been causing for a while, the reason we're not in contact anymore, and the whole reason that the Port of Mar thinks I'm an only child, could be coming full circle soon-ish, maybe. That's just my hunch. I don't know. I could be overreacting.
I mean, he seems very nonchalant about it. He's just
Yeah.
like, well, we've dealt with people's family bullshit before, so, I mean, we'll handle it just like we handled everything else.
Do you think it has something to do with that, like, message I saw on the bar?
What message? You didn't tell us.
Yeah, you've not said anything
You didn't
about
say
that to
anything about
anybody yet.
Have I not?
No.
Nope. You sat down at the table in the tavern and didn't say
You
anything.
didn't say anything.
Oh, I just yelled Eira's name and just that. Okay, cool. So there was I was at the bar getting a drink and I saw the sentence in Thieves' Camp
Oh, yeah?
that said that the eye is always watching?
You can
Saeble?
Did you say the eye?
Yes.
That's another thing. Sorry. So this was the first time I actually saw my deity, and she was really pretty. So I got a little distracted. But there
I
was
did not see her face, which is so funny.
Well, she saw her form and like just
that was
it
enough.
all.
Yeah.
It was the vibes.
You could just tell when someone's hot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not there.
it said that there was an eye as well, but I think it was metaphorical or something like that. But it says like that they're always watching and waiting and are like a poison. I don't know if that has to do anything with your eye.
what are you rolling for?
History check
Okay.
to connect the eye to...
Okay.
it's a 19 plus 8.
It's good when I know that.
Well, because I knew you were going to ask. Like,
Did you? Was I?
Probably. Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
I didn't know Roman was back at the table.
Damn.
You always ask. I was
Inside joke.
was gonna ask if like I connect the eye is watching to what I know of my brother's activities.
Will you roll?
27.
No.
Dang.
Maybe it's not connected.
Because when we discuss this with your character, there's little that you know about that actual activity. There's a rumor, there's a sense of,
Impending doom.
to be cryptic for the rest of the table, fanaticism that kind of encompassed his behavior, his actions. As far as how far it extended, I mean, even your family doesn't know that.
Well,
There's an assumption, but there's no like
yeah.
affirmation.
Well, she's gonna base it on her assumptions. It doesn't have to be factual, but
right. But as far as like what it's called, how they operate, all those things.
that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking something much smaller than that.
Right, but as far as like this phrase and stuff like that, and how it would be tied to it, it's hard to pit those pieces together.
I'll repeat my backstory later.
Me when I wrote the wrong description for my sister, and I was like, shit.
Again, as far as like ideologies, motives,
That's not what I'm looking for.
right. The phrase "eye is always watching" or the eyes and things like that, as far as how it would connect to what you know specifically, there's not much correlation that you are aware of at this time.
Okay. Then it's not relevant.
It's relevant in like the circumstances that exist now with what she said, what she's talking about having experienced.
I guess
Again-
then she would just automatically in her brain just assume that they're connected.
That you can do.
So
There's no confirmation right now, but it's safe to assume, not to affirm. If that makes sense.
It's just a game theory.
Okay.
we don't have money for that.
It's a chaos theory.
What the fuck?
It's a chaotic theory. I'm sorry, I had
Nice
to. I had to try.
Jesus. Anyway, proceed with your interactions.
Oh, 2 + 2. Got it.
Yeah.
I got there.
What were we talking
The
about?
eyes. You guys are talking about the stuff with the eyes.
I told you what the eye was. Oh my gosh, where's your head?
We got
So many places. I feel like there's like
Her dad's
For-
alive.
He was dead?
I thought he was. Apparently not, and I better not see his face.
Oh, you don't like dad?
He's been supposedly missing for 16 years, presumed dead. So yeah, no, I'd rather not see him.
Okay. Daddy issues.
Did you just like turn to say that to Jax?
Yes.
Like, he's like,
I have a question. With my 20 passive perception, would I have heard that?
probably.
I don't have daddy issues.
We're not close like that yet.
I'm just. Sometimes I wonder why I'm here.
Not this again.
I'm not gonna leave.
Okay, comments like that, it's how we get into the messes we've been in before.
Anyway, so you need to stay
Going off of history here.
with
folks.
us.
Me? Yes, I would like to. If you don't mind. I can. I'm an optimist. So, like, maybe, just maybe, I can turn some frowns upside down.
Fucking hate this bitch.
Oh boy.
What the why?
Well, he won't be your friend. She gestures to Jax.
It's just
You don't know that.
your
He doesn't
work's
like-
cut out for you. Let's just put it that way.
He doesn't
I mean,
like.
I love a
No, say it. Say it. You've already gotten halfway there. Say it.
challenge.
Okay. We'll see.
He doesn't like things that are happy.
Oh. Well,
I mean,
can
her
be
get along
sad.
so
Look,
well.
I didn't know this was a roast fest.
Well, you're immune to fire.
these one-liners.
Listen, I know I need to read my character sheet, all right.
What's a character
Yeah, what's a
sheet?
character sheet?
I am resistant. I am not immune. Thank you very much. I would have gone down so many times.
Eira looks like around to see like if Eliana's done.
No.
Okay.
So what happened in the little room that guy took you to?
Well,
Meanwhile, yeah, we will cut away from that at that point. So you all sit down to meditate, and where does your mind searching for? Where is it trying to go?
Well, first, mechanically it doesn't really matter, but I would like to cast a spell called Font of Moonlight. And so
Okay.
a cool light wreathes your body for the duration, emitting bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for additional 20 feet. It does other things, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to cast that for the vibes, to make it feel like starlit. And I guess my mind is trying to, I'm just reaching out to Philosopher, being like, hey, just wanted to check in. Hope you're doing well. I know a lot's happened in the past day or so. And I just want to thank you for protecting my family, helping them out. Really appreciate all that you've done.
Your connection with your family and the spell and all the things considered. You see, normally when like eyes are closed, the darkness and the kind of like seeing the black, it kind of this like thin kind of like white line kind of comes across, almost as if it's like creating like on a horizon. And much like what would be the sun coming up over a large hill, you see this like kind of light starting to kind of like bleed out and illuminate to this kind of like nebula of stars and all this stuff like kind of around, as slowly like stars begin to start like kind of slowly illuminating and kind of like in this like kind of sequence, almost as if it's like trailing down from somewhere and kind of tracing itself down to the horizon, as this kind of like almost, it seems like it's like almost like water, but it's not. It's this like blue kind of splash of like stars in kind of like this almost like kind of wave of energy. And Flossidus, as you've seen her before, in the kind of sequined, kind of sapphire star-like dress, the indigo kind of blue skin, and the kind of nebula that is like her hair, and it's kind of like flowing almost as if it's kind of caught in a breeze, but it almost like kind of blends in with the stars and stuff behind it. And she walks with a scythe now, but it is almost as if it's like being used as like a walking stick, and the metal kind of like staff, like part of it, as the sickle itself is almost like an event horizon, where it's like almost like kind of like a part of like a black hole. So it's like got this like a deep like black color to it, but the outline of it is like this kind of illuminating white. So it's almost like it's kind of like this deep blackest of blacks, like kind of black hole-ish type void. And she approaches you, and you're by yourself at first, and as you see her kind of walking out of this horizon, you notice that to your left, to your right, and then your left is both your sister and your mother's. And Lillian doesn't look surprised. There seems to be a level of familiarity, or almost like calmness. Whereas Freona and Gren are very much kind of like looking around, confused, like taking in just the whole kind of atmosphere of it all. And she says, "Welcome. It's good to see you, and it's good to meet you all." And she looks at Lillian and says, "I'm glad you made it home safe. How was that meteor shower, by the way?" And it was nice. I'm assuming you're the one that helped me get home? And she says, "Indeed." And sorry we had to meet this way. And it kind of looks at your two mothers, but we're all here now. And she kind of makes eye contact with you and says, I'm guessing they started to believe what you said, given that they're here now.
Yeah, it took some reading and, but they were getting there.
I appreciate your thanks, and that it's been a journey. It's a lot to get acclimated to, given that so much has changed. But I do come with good news.
Oh.
Your friend has safely came and went very quickly, but he does offer his happy tidings as far as that can be considered, and I guess it's good news and bad news. Mm-hmm. If you were to ever see this individual again, I don't afraid he may not remember you. It's much like taking on a new job somewhere. There's a lot to catch up on, and it seems as though your friend had a bit of a connection to other things that has set him on the course for whatever lies ahead. But things are balancing themselves out. As I've taken over this domain, as well as the stars, the other gods have thankfully acknowledged my presence once more.
Are they happy about it? How are they taking it?
A lot of raised eyebrows, you can assume, given the kind of course that it's taken to get here. But and Brianna kind of says, if I may, there's a lot of this talk of the person that we had dedicated our lives to being false, and my kind of whole worldview's been turned upside down. Is there any clarity that you can offer us? And she smiles, almost kind of like with a smirk. Says, your daughter has not led you astray. She speaks truth that Thanatura was a troubled god, and unfortunately caused a lot of trouble for those who tried to just do right by gods and their worship. And I'm sorry that you and your family, as well as the folks in your village, were affected the way they were. But hopefully I can help you course correct, and we can get things back on track. As I know that some other folks in the Pantheon have assured me that nature's balance will continue, and they will keep hold over that domain to make sure that nothing or no one causes any more issues like that. And what happens next is up to you. I can just offer my guidance, and although your part of the Fey realm does not see stars a lot, maybe you can show your people. You've guided them before, and you can do it again. And she kind of looks back at you and says, sometimes, I know I'm going to be cliche, guys, the student will become the master. And your mother kind of looks over at you, and you can see there's, amidst the confusion and kind of almost like lostness that was there, there seems to be a smile, a little bit of hope that kind of carries in her face a little bit as she looks on at you, and Flossus kind of looks over at your sister and says, you should be able to guide them as well. You've started to learn some of my ways, and let what you know and what you believe help shape what is to come. I fear that this world needs it. A lot of souls have been led astray, as I've had to do a lot of cleanup when it comes to those who have been laid to rest, as their afterlives have been unfortunately restless. But that's significantly changed, and it's thanks to you. She looks at Eliana.
I've noticed. I guess I've noticed since I've been on the material plane, at least from my observations, there have been a couple more stars that have appeared. Are those new constellations you're forming, or?
Those... It's complicated to describe.
Souls?
It's a little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I've had to set free, in a way, a lot of souls that were being misused, misguided in their afterlife, and allow them them to return to the world and the stars so that they can help guide, watch over the people that they've been taken so far away from. Thanatura was abusing her dominion, and I've had to work with the god of death, rebirth, and even fate.
I was actually... You speak about being misguided and taken advantage of. We do have a new acquaintance, and I was wondering, she worships the Veiled One. Is that of the Fates? Are they to be trusted?
You speak of Saeble.
Yes.
Calith is a trusted confidant, and from what I've known, that she doesn't often lead people astray. She doesn't really lead people at all.
Should I be using that name?
It's best not.
Okay,
We'll keep that our little secret.
Yeah, okay.
But if anything, she puts them on the path, and they choose to either follow it or let them be led. Her hand is but a guiding one, not a forceful one.
That's a relief. I've dealt with too much of the forcefulness in the past.
There are a lot of heavy hands that rule over different dominions, but I'm hoping to lead by a better example and
I'll
change that.
try my best to help you out on that. I'm not a god, but, I will try my best to help you along the way.
It's appreciated. And you see, she kind of takes the scythe that she's holding, and she kind of gently like taps it on like the ground that's next to her, and it's almost like when you like knock your knock on like a glass tank, it kind of echoes like doom doom. And you see and you feel this kind of like tingle as this ethereal form that you're in when you're in this like kind of meditative state. You feel this like kind of like almost like kind of, I don't want to say it's like a diadem because it doesn't like curve up or anything, but it's like this kind of like crown of this like what looks to be connected together kind of stars. So it almost looks like it's like constellations, but kind of stuck together in this like small little kind of essentially like a star crown, almost like a crown of flowers, but stars. And it's like kind of twinkles, and it has like these kind of blue kind of like almost like energy kind of lines that kind of connect everything together.
I'm a princess.
Lead the circle of the stars.
Okay.
It'll be new in the world, but let your family be the ones to guide weary travelers as the stars have guided them before, and give meaning to the paths that they walk.
I will do my best.
I know you. But rest easy that like many the ponds and the flowing waters that exist in the world, the ripples will soon calm. And the reflections and pools will slowly begin to reform. And that the ripples that you and your allies have forged have everlasting and good effects.
Okay, good effects. Great.
At least if I can help it, at least. So,
I suppose you have a lot of work to do. I should probably let you go.
as always, it's always nice to see you.
It's wonderful to see you as well.
We'll talk again soon. And it was a pleasure meeting you all. And as rough as this is to grapple with, you have a good mentor. And kind of nods, and as she kind of turns to and she kind of like almost like fades into the stars or above the horizon as everything kind of like rushes back, and you smell the incense and everything of this meditation room that you are all in.
Isn't she beautiful, Mom?
I would say so. I'm not sure. It's still a lot to process, and
I know.
And Gren kind of like puts her hand on Freedom's back and says, "It's okay. It's gonna be all right. This is a good change." And your sister kind of like playfully kind of like shoves you and like kind of like, "All right."
Hey, you're gonna have to lead them in my place while I'm gone.
Thanks for giving me all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, you know more than Mom at this point right now, so.
She says like, "All right, now let's not get carried away." So you all kind of, and I will say, go ahead if you haven't, mark off a long rest essentially as you've meditated for. It only feels like it's been a few minutes, but you have been in there for a few hours.
Whoa.
Enough to 4 hours at least.
You guys are like, what the fuck is taking you so long?
We're like laying on the floor, like throwing trash up in the air.
Well, I feel like you've like as acolytes, you would have checked in or tried to like go and like peek into the room and notice that like she's fine and that they were just kind of calm and that like
we were also doing.
You did the thing with Verity and the thing as well, and then you had that thing. So that makes sense.
Well, you
that happened after.
Yeah, it happened after. Yeah, you walked
Yeah.
off.
What if we pretend that it happened before?
No. No, and
Just trying to logically.
I mean,
If I would have known that, I would have gone off to the other place. But that's fine. I can do that later.
You could have. We haven't decided what has happened in the time that she's been gone,
That is very true.
and we'll find that out after the break.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Well, now that you're here, just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us on this journey so far with us here at Off the Beaten Quest. You're going to start noticing a lot of new things on our Twitch channel now that we are affiliate. You will see a lot of cool emotes designed by our very own Caroline, as well as a lot of other things that we do have in the works. Definitely hit that follow button, or maybe even subscribe so we can bring you a lot more. And do remember, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can use your 1 month free sub. If you're watching on YouTube, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification button so the YouTube algorithm gods will share this video with a lot of other people like you. Thank you so much again. My name is Justin Fussell. I am the Game Master for Off the Beaten Quest. Outside of being the Game Master, I do a lot of writing, world building, filmmaking. Me and my wife, we run Imagistorm Productions together. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun just incorporating a lot of the world building and writing that I do into this, building this campaign overall. It's been really interesting to kind of take the filmmaking background and kind of apply it to being a game master, because essentially a lot of like the players are the actors and you're setting scenes and you kind of just let them freeform in the space versus just any like preconceived dialogue. So it's a lot of fun just to kind of see, you put the situations in their hands and just kind of see what they come up with. I enjoy playing D&D with this group because they're like my found family. It's been, I love everybody that sits at this table. It's been a lot of fun to just be able to kind of build this world with them together. A lot of the way I incorporate this with a lot of the players and the story and stuff has been a lot of collaboration, seeing how their stories intertwine with what I have planned and vice versa. It's going to be a very interesting to see how the people receive everybody. Everybody's got its own different flair, and the way that this team is made up of very colorful characters, I think everybody's going to love them. They're going to find something to laugh with and have fun with, and it's going to be really good. In the campaign, I play a lot of the different NPCs, of course, but the main one that I play is Jax. He's a fighter monk druid, and he came from a tribe of changelings that existed in the Fey realm and kind of had some backstories with different things and different interconnected characters. He's become a love interest and boyfriend of Eira's character. And if you want to know more about Jax's backstory and kind of how it's interconnected with the whole story, you can always check out the prologue. I chose to do a homebrew setting versus an existing campaign just because it was something where I could kind of really just expand and create a universe. I wanted to have something that I can build upon. I honestly like to be able to throw twists and stuff at the players. I think that's the biggest thing I think is really fun. There's a lot of ideas of what's going to happen, where things are going to go. Just as much as they can improv in a setting, I can do the same, and it kind of allows for a lot of really good back and forth. Definitely, if you've checked the prologue, there are some things that happen in episode 62 that is a little bit of an Easter egg that even the players haven't figured out yet, which has been really nice. But it's going to come back around eventually, and it's going to be a really big aha moment. But I think that's one of the biggest things to look out for. It'll be a very blink and you'll miss it kind of moment. But other than that, just being really on the lookout for a lot of just the backstory and the things that how this is going to be building up to as we get into the next arc of the campaign. So they can find us on any of the major podcasting platforms, as well as our social medias and Twitch and our YouTube.
My name is Allie Goodell, and I am part of the filmmaking team on this podcast. I record all of the video for the intro, for us playing, things like that. I went to college for film, and I'm actually very interested in getting to do more with that. So this is a really good experience for me to start experimenting with my film cameras and all the equipment that I have. I feel like at first, when I started with this project, there was a lot of push and pull because I, as a person, like to hover and be involved with everything. So trying to work as a team has been very much a learning experience and learning when to step back and put myself in. So it's been interesting figuring out the dynamic, but I'm having a really good time, and learning how to do this all for the first time, really putting together a podcast, has been fun and interesting. I really like playing D&D with this group because it's not just playing D&D. I feel like I'm part of a big family. Every time that we play, we have a dinner together and we kind of just hang out a little bit, and we have a little break session and we get little desserts, and it's just like, you know, hanging out with mom and dad and the siblings. Allie F and Justin F are kind of the mom and dad of the group, and I love them so much, and I have a great time with everyone. It just really feels like a family here. I feel like this campaign has very great homebrew essences. I feel like they would love Bountifolia especially. That's one of the most interesting islands we've been to so far. I feel like there's a lot of life to this campaign and the world building, and I think people are going to be very interested in what kinds of different places and NPCs that Justin creates for the campaign. You can find us at Off the Beaten Quest on all podcast platforms, as well as Twitch and YouTube, and you can also find us on our social medias.
Hi, I'm Allie Fussell. I am doing all of the marketing, project management, keeping everyone on track to get Off the Beaten Quest out into the world. For me, I got to work again with my amazing husband on this project. He is the world builder in this incredible world, so being able to work closely with him to bring his vision out to the world, in addition to being able to collaborate with our friends, it's been such a fun project for me, and also being able to flex all of my skills that I have from my day job in this as well to push this project out has been a lot of fun. Honestly, one of the things that is the most fun about it is hosting everyone every week. We do play in our home, and one of my favorite things is being able to make dinner and also bake something from scratch for our players every week, and just having that time with them before and during our breaks during sessions as well. And also, these people are friends. They are my closest friends. So being able to have this experience with them, not only just playing the game, but also being able to share it with the world, has been absolutely amazing. I think the audience is going to really enjoy the campaign. It has all of the classic elements of a D&D campaign with our own spin, with our diverse cast of characters. You can find us on all major podcast streaming platforms, in addition to YouTube and Twitch, and all social media, which is linked in the caption right down here.
Hi, my name is Caroline Daher, and I am the in-house artist for the podcast. Outside of being a player, I like long walks on the beach and chasing waterfalls, but in reality, I'm a student for psychobiology, which is just a big fancy word for saying I like how thoughts and emotions are combined with how our bodies work in our body's biology. It's been wonderful finding my place in the team just by doing their character art or proof checking some of the episodes before they release, and I'm really excited to kind of continue to grow with them and be where they need me to be, and for the extra opportunities to do even more artistic things. What I enjoy most about playing D&D with this group, and just the whole dynamic in general, is that Justin, our DM, puts so much thought and care into creating this adventure for us. I think he genuinely gets a kick out of keeping us on our toes, and I love seeing that, not only for myself as a player, but for everyone else that is a player in the campaign as well. Allie F is kind of like the anchor of the group. She is the one that makes us food and has little treats, and then she also kind of makes everyone feel comfortable coming into this space because they're hosting us in their home. And I know it's a little cliche to say it's like a family, but it really is like a family, and that's, I think, what makes it so special. As far as what the audience is going to think about the campaign, I feel that they're going to love it because it has the perfect balance of drama and humor and sadness, and it's just so balanced that there's nothing that anyone could dislike. You can find us here on all major podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube and Twitch, and check out our socials linked below.
Hello, my name is Sarah Matlack. I'm kind of a flex role, and so I kind of jump from task to task. Just wherever people need me, I'm there. It's been a lot of fun getting to work with everyone from various different backgrounds and personalities too. Getting to come together and create something magical, I feel like, is rare nowadays, especially with this much inspiration that just comes from each other, and we get to kind of almost feed off of each other and kind of help each other out in that way, which is a lot of fun. I love the bits and how they keep circling back with basically every session. There's a couple that Lukiel and Dawn do throughout the sessions, and the bits, just the absolute laughter that comes with this group is what keeps me coming back. I think they're going to have an absolute blast. Again, going back to the bits and the total chaos that comes from this group. It honestly surprises me every time, which is hard to do. You can find us on all major podcasting platforms, including our Twitch, YouTube, and other social medias.
All right, and we're back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking through that break. And yeah, so we were picking up where we left off, as essentially as Eliana was meditating for a few hours. The three of you and Jack, so four, had time in between. What were we doing in the meantime?
I mean, I don't want to leave, but I would like to try to meditate
Okay.
and talk. Try. It doesn't have to work. And, like, try to get in touch with Nylea, but, like, she's also, like, somewhere else she has to go for that. She's like, you know what, fuck it. I'm tired of walking. So she just sits on the floor.
Okay.
Just in the middle of the
Not in the middle, like, she's probably over, like, because the middle makes her vulnerable. So I think she puts her back probably, like, is Jack still seated?
Mm-hmm.
She probably, like, leans up against his legs.
Okay.
Because, like, she knows she's safe then. If not, he has some splaining to do.
Yeah.
Essentially, you just kind of meditate, and as much as your normal long rest, nothing specific happens in this space.
I think in addition to trying to reach out, she's also trying to kind of parse through a lot of the information, a lot of what's happened,
Mm-hmm.
trying to, like, not let the loss of Lukiel be as heavy for as long term as other losses
Mm-hmm.
have been. She's growing emotionally, guys. Yeah. And I imagine, like, she's sitting like crisscross applesauce, and, like, Alyer is probably sitting in the little, like hole in her legs. Maybe, like, curled up with, like, a wing over his head.
Yeah.
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 He's a cutie.
Again, nothing of note
That's fine.
happens here.
She's still trying.
Yeah. So essentially, you can mark off a long rest. Essentially, you know.
Okay. Well, when my computer turns back on, it died.
Okay.
Is it late?
Aw. Huh?
Is it late?
I mean, it was like after dinner time that you guys came here. So essentially now it's like, 9 or 10 in the evening after the meditations from both people. You and Verity or Jack's Jack's probably will stay with Eira. You two essentially can do something in that 4 hours if you'd like. There's nothing that says that you have to stay here.
Want to go for a walk? Just around the building?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, we go for a walk together then.
Around the Veiled Observatory?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't go outside.
Wait, we don't?
We can't go outside. Do you want to go
I
outside?
want fresh air. I could touch grass.
Okay, I will touch. We can touch grass.
Okay, that would feel
I feel
really
like that's
nice
gonna be a
to me.
thing. I feel like that's gonna be a thing later on.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you not like grass?
Not
Do you have
really.
a bad relationship with grass too?
Two.
Damn.
Are you allergic to grass?
She heard the story of the... Yeah.
Am I allergic to grass?
Yeah.
I hope not. Because I really, 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 like sitting down in it and getting all itchy and then bathing.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you guys leave the observatory, and you venture out into the town.
Yay.
Like, how much sleep do you need?
8.
8? Me too. Oh my gosh. I'm surrounded by so many people that like don't sleep.
Being around elves, man, they get to sleep, what, half the amount we do?
They get to sleep half the amount and live double the amount. What in the world?
I know, right?
It's not fair. You know, I think it should be the opposite. I just think that, but whatever.
I mean, what if we just all got to sleep, like 4 hours was just... What?
You want to teach me how to swim?
That had one by a sundial vibes.
It did. It
Who?
did. The guy from Hercules.
You want to buy
a sundial?
Is there a lake in Luare?
No.
You know, once we find some clean water that's deep enough, maybe. Sure.
Really? You know how to swim?
I would assume, yeah. Mary knows how to swim.
Nice. I
Yeah.
literally like haven't done anything except for like sell stuff like flowers and herbs and stuff.
Is learning how to swim on your bucket list?
It is.
I can
Oh
help
my
you.
gosh, yeah, it's number 32.
Okay, yeah. I got you, girl. I got you.
That would be cool. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you guys are walking through Luare. Essentially, that's where you going.
Okay, for 4 hours, what else are you doing with me?
I would say, is there something you wanted to talk about with each other? Look for, venture to.
I do have a question for you. How often do your cards come up blank?
You know, honestly, that's not really something I've seen before.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. But I
not-
mean, it's not like your fault. It's that,
No,
you know...
it's probably my patron's fault. I blame them.
So, what is your patron like? What is wrong with them?
I mean, they're a fiend, so...
What's a fiend?
Like a devil, but not a devil? Question mark?
They got horns?
This one does. At least I haven't seen them.
Okay. Have you seen them?
I just saw them physically for the first time, like a few hours back or a couple hours, however long we've been walking.
Were they cute?
I would not say that, no.
Okay.
They were...
I just had to check.
Yeah, I wouldn't say... There was a moment, though, where I thought they were referring to themselves as daddy, which was very awkward.
Oh my goodness. I mean, my veiled one is mommy, but I understand, when they think they aren't, but then they say things like that. Yeah, it's a little annoying.
Yep, I did this to myself. It's fine. Bless.
Yeah, it was just really... That's when I found out that they weren't referring to themselves as daddy, but they were referring to my actual,
Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's the one that was dead but not dead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit sleepy, so I'm gonna try to find a tavern. Not a tavern, what are the ones you sleep in?
Like a inn or an inn town?
Yes. Do you think they charge a lot? Do you think...
I mean, I know sometimes, when Dawn was with us, sometimes her and Eliana would sleep in the same room. I know Eira and Jax do, but they have a thing going on.
Okay.
What?
No, I was just wondering. I thought they had a cute little relationship, but I wasn't 100% sure.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're a thing.
Did he, define the relationship, though?
That is a question not for me. I'm not going to get into that. I do not feel like getting stabbed by Eira.
Make a history check.
Because if no one's DTR'd, then...
Whoa.
Define the relationship.
Yeah, whoa.
Brain. Oh, you said history?
Mm-hmm.
15.
Yes, they've defined the relationship and they've said it multiple times.
They've defined it. How much I was paying attention to what that means, I can't tell you.
I mean, I get it. I really do. One day I'm going to define the relationship too for myself, and it's going to be glorious.
Hey, power to you, girly.
Yeah, I'm trying. A girl's got to try, you know? Yeah. Do you think that inns check, like...
Why are you looking like that?
Do you think inns check, like, the stables? Or, like, people that stay the night in stables? Like, do you think I could sleep there for free?
Why don't you just why don't you just share a room with me when we like
I don't
Noth-
know.
nothing funny, but
I know
like
nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, you're not going to kill me in my sleep, right? Well, actually,
I feel like I've had this conversation with everyone I met. No, I'm not going to kill you.
okay. I mean, actually, I shouldn't worry about that because I know exactly how I'm going to die, when I'm going to
Exactly.
die, everything that's going to happen when I die. So, yeah, I'd love that. Thank you for offering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. You want to head back? It's been like a long time.
Yeah,
And
we
they
can.
haven't like found us at all, so
Yeah, we can head back and then we'll probably figure out where everyone's going to stay for the night, and then we can share that room.
okay, you want to hold hands?
I'm good, but I appreciate the offer. And she starts walking off.
How red is Verity right now?
Red. She's a deeper red.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
scarlet red now?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm picturing two friends holding hands, skipping down the road.
They're not there
But
yet.
Verity has a person. And there's a lot of insinuation that could happen. So I'm like in love with what's happening at the moment.
We're heading back to the observatory.
I'm just trying to understand what she meant by that. So you head back to the observatory. And sure enough, the amount of walking and everything that you've done takes up enough time for you to make up back to the observatory. It's a lot of like aimless walking and lingering in places and just like touching grass.
Sometimes literally.
Wholesome. No, for sure, literally. Oh, yeah.
What would be the metaphorical version? You said literally. What would be the other version?
Just fresh air.
Oh, okay.
Going for a walk. That's what I would say.
I
I'm
imagine
going to go touch grass.
I imagine at certain points they will literally like crouches and like touches the ground.
Oh, no doubt.
So you come out of your meditation. You essentially do as well, and make your way back with your family to reconvene all of you back in this kind of main room.
Hi.
You guys always look so surprised when me, the DM,
I
is
think we're
just going to
waiting.
let you guys talk like normal.
We're waiting to like see who engages first, I think.
Do we see the like circlet around Eliana?
No.
Oh.
Okay. There goes what I was going to say.
Okay.
Hey guys. So I had a meeting with Flossidus. I showed my family to her. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah?
It was quite intense.
Yeah. I know it's all it's a lot. I know. I would know we keep saying that, but I know it doesn't make it any less of a lot.
Yep.
What did she have to say?
So I'm supposed to. So you know how druids have circles?
Mhm.
So I'm apparently founding the Circle of Stars.
That's really cool.
Are you gonna walk around with pamphlets again?
Maybe.
You used to do that?
Oh yeah. When we first met her. She's grown a lot though.
Theoretical pamphlets. They weren't actual pamphlets, but like
Oh, okay.
I was kind of reciting scripture of Florenia, like here and there.
I thought you were. Yeah, I thought you were physically handing it
It
out.
wasn't here and there, but that's cool. Sounds like a big responsibility. Are you staying here to do that, or do you have to go back?
Yeah, I'm staying here.
Okay.
Lillian's gonna help facilitate some of. She's she kind of discovered Felicitas in her own way without knowing who Felicitas was. So she's kind of in the know. And my mom's
Yeah.
going to help.
I'm going to work with Mom and figure it out, and we'll take care of it while she does the work here. So,
Apparently I can, I don't know, Felicitas kind of just gave me free reign.
What does that mean? That sounds like your god form? Free reign?
No.
Oh, okay.
Define, the values, I guess, of the Circle of Stars, things like that.
more so to,
Kind of.
continue the work you already
facilitate,
been doing.
yeah. To facilitate the knowledge of her and what she does. Yeah.
I feel like you're the best person for that. Given you just only saved her life. It's a small little task you completed,
Not without her help.
It was-
She gave me her powers.
It was still you, though. You still controlled that magic.
So how can we help?
Oh, well, I don't want you guys to have to, feel like you're
I can't
right.
convert, but I can assist. How? I don't know.
I feel like belief of Felicitas is, a big thing, but I guess that can also be spread, it doesn't necessarily have to be, her name, but, the stories in the stars.
And dear, you don't have to walk around like a traveling salesman. Essentially, you have to just continue to do
That's kind of how
Wait.
you taught me about Aarencia to do.
right. And we've learned that the system was a little bit broken.
Yeah.
That there's a different way of doing things.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just something that maybe happens naturally.
Okay.
I mean, we're
Yeah,
gonna
don't
meet
be
a
so
lot.
uptight about it.
I mean, I feel like we're gonna meet a lot more druids as we travel. I don't feel like they're the rarest among.
And Jack's like, I
People.
fucking hope not.
Okay, maybe not yours,
Yeah.
but others, like Eliana.
Hey, Jax, you want to convert?
Technically, he's only got one level of druid,
You
so
want
he
me to-
technically hasn't chosen a circle yet either. So that's so funny.
I can teach you about the stars, constellations, the stories.
A whole new world. We'll see.
I was gonna tell Dawn about the stars, but then she kind of just left.
You can write her a letter.
Sending stone.
She
That's
does have
so-
the sending stone.
Do you think it would be weird if, I spoke into the sending stone because it was you or the one who gave it to
It's
her?
I don't care. Just give it back.
Okay.
So she hands her.
But we use it only at night when we know that we won't need it for the rest of the day.
Except I might have already slept.
Okay.
Kind of. I meditated.
I did too.
So maybe we do it tomorrow.
They're looking at each other what the fuck? We didn't get to sleep.
What do you mean?
That conversation we had earlier. It's really hitting hard now.
I'm really tired.
Jax, are you tired?
Did you catch that, by the way?
What?
She's talking to Eliana. Hey, Saeble, can you tell Eliana what happened earlier to you?
Do I have to?
You do. Listen. Just listen. Not only the words, but the way the words are delivered.
Okay.
Ooh, you want my words to be delivered a certain way?
Wait.
Use your actual voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's been talking in
I was
a
like, wait a
different voice for
second.
a hot minute since you've been back in this room.
Allie did not remember. And then I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, oh yeah.
I was
You're-
like, ooh, she's cool with it.
Your voice is different.
Yeah, just a little though. It's not like
a lot.
Oh, okay. So basically, I have like this.
I dropped the dice in the tray. Wasn't anything rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I have this bucket list that I'm doing, and when I was doing it and I met you guys, I didn't exactly think, hey, these people are gonna like be important. So I didn't think like I didn't know when to drop it. You know what I mean?
Wait, how did you not know if we were important? Because don't your fate cards tell you that?
My fate cards told me you were important when she came up to me.
Okay.
I didn't go into this thingy and think, this. Yeah, perfect fate. Best friends. I didn't think that.
Well, Flossidus says that your god checks out, so.
That's cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so no impersonators, no...
As far as I'm aware.
I mean, I would hope not. I will follow her to my death, quite literally.
I mean, Flossidus has been, collaborating with.
DM was like, good to know.
No, I just thought it was like funny the way you said that.
Well, I mean, Eliana was willing to follow Florenia to death, too. And then...
Yeah, but...
If Eliana
It's different.
says, Flossidus said, that your goddess checks out, then your goddess checks out.
Flossidus has been kind of working with all the other gods to try and, fill the space and, smooth everything out. So apparently she talked to the Veiled One for a little bit here and there. So
Lucky.
okay. Are you? Okay.
What?
You just said that really weird.
I mean, when anyone gets to talk to her, they're lucky because she's awesome. But anyway.
Do you have a thing for her?
Me? Maybe. I don't know.
Can I roll an insight?
That's literally what I was
Sure
thinking.
can.
Barry's
Do I
just
have
like,
to
this
roll?
sounds about
You
right.
sure can.
Do I have to roll?
You do deception or persuasion. You don't have to say which. You just have to say the number.
15? $19.
Okay.
21.
21.
Dang it.
So you can choose how honest or not you would like to be,
But if she's dishonest, she snuffs it out?
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with her.
Okay. Yeah. That is the vibe you get.
You kind of remind me of my earlier, when I first got to the material plane. Kind of reminds me of.
It feels different
Well,
than
I mean, I'm not in a cult.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a cult now.
Anymore.
Now
Okay.
your
Or-
friend's just being rude.
I'm not her
To-
friend yet.
Yes, to
like,
be fair, she's my acquaintance.
but she will be my friend, like
Hmm.
later on.
We met her
Because-
today.
Well,
Technically
Yeah.
yesterday now? Is it now yesterday?
No.
it's really late.
Then this should be appropriate. That's going to be a 21 to hit.
My mom
Hold on.
She slaps you across the face.
Am I standing? Hold on. Am I standing within 5 feet of her?
I'd say so.
You have a
yeah.
+5 to your AC
Jesus.
because of my tattoo.
doesn't hit.
Because it's 23.
Okay.
+5.
Thanks.
What are you doing?
Whoa, Mom. Whoa.
Just because she's an acquaintance doesn't mean that she needs to have her shit rocked.
Well, it's not like she was doing it essentially as like a caddy, like
Yeah,
because she was
because
being she
like a
called it
boomer mom.
She called. Fair enough.
Mom, you know that.
Slapping people you don't know.
You probably shouldn't follow in the steps of Florenia. Like the fake Florenia, not the real Florenia. Sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that.
I don't think she was doing that. I think I was being a little catty, so she was being catty back. It's fine. I
But-
understand.
Natura.
I respect my elders. If she wants to
That's-
hit me,
yeah.
she can hit me.
Mm.
I mean, if I had a mom, I would want her to hit me if I was out of line. So it's okay.
For everyone going, that's like player and character.
Where's your mom?
What?
Where's your mom?
Oh, she's dead.
So
Okay.
I'll all retroactive. It's not necessarily a slap across the face. It was more like kind of one of those like in the back of the head.
Okay.
That's
so,
fine.
That's not as bad.
Yeah.
Not nearly.
Essentially,
I thought it was
it's like if somebody calls like something that you've essentially, depending on how old we've confirmed that Freona is, like especially for being an elf and how old they can be, they dedicated a certain majority of their life, and somebody just calling it a cult when they don't necessarily understand it. There's going to be a little bit of a like the fuck.
That's what I pictured. I pictured it as like a reprimand, like a little one. Yeah, not anything.
I'm sorry for your loss.
That's okay. It's been like a long time, so.
Hey.
She like looks at her mom and then grin.
Don't worry,
You're lucky.
we live longer than the humans do. We'll be around for quite some time.
Saeble rolls her eyes.
I hope so.
Verity goes to stand beside Saeble and like steps in front of her a little bit.
Aww. We bonded.
I mean, I'm sure the tiefling would understand, but they do live similar lifespans that we do, so.
Don't mean shit.
Then again, she did just learn that about her own parents.
Excuse
Mom,
me?
why are you being so snappy all of a sudden to my friend?
Are you hungry?
See, this one's my friend.
They're being a little rude, dear.
Verity, I don't think Verity was being pretty
Verity didn't
rude.
say
Well,
anything.
she stepped in front of this one as if I'm
So
some
you don't-
threat.
So you don't hit her again.
Hey.
And I shot an arrow at your feet, and you didn't slap me across the back of the head.
Is this
you weren't within arm's reach.
or is it because we're not elves?
Oh, I don't care what you are.
I don't like what this. I feel uncomfortable.
Mom, I think we're gonna cool off everyone, and
Let's
we're
go
just gonna
get some
take a
ice
step.
cream.
Let's go get some food, late night food. I think everyone's a little hangry.
Tacos sounds great.
Verity looks at Sable's like, you know what? I think sleep is a great thing, don't you?
Me
Cooler heads
too.
prevail.
Let's go sleep those wonderful 8 hours.
Yeah. I mean, no nom-noms for us, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And Verity like hooks her arm with Saeble and walks out and flips off the mothers.
And Eira like leans over to Eliana like, when did she grow a spine? Talking about Verity. She's always been so terrified, shaky.
I don't know.
She has
I wa-
someone to protect.
So you two walk off, right?
Yeah.
Freona turns to Gren and says, there must be a lack of parental figures.
I'm here for this. Like,
And what's funny is Jax is still here. His parents are dead. But Eira comes from a very, except for her brother, very functional family.
She like leans over to her. I know she can be a lot sometimes.
Hey, it's just playing into the way it was
When
written.
do they leave? Okay. Is Eliana getting to the point where it's been great to see
it's
your
like
parents?
when you've been home for Christmas for like 3 days, and you're like, oh my
I'm
God.
ready to go.
Like-
Is that where she's getting to?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Not with her sister. Her sister's chill.
Yeah. But her mom's, it's like,
Gren's not too bad.
And just so you, it's not a weird character choice. It says,
Yeah.
despite her more grounded and forceful personality,
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Pranoia is a little, she's a little spicy.
That's fine.
it's fine.
I just walked away because I knew if I didn't,
I
Verity's going to throw a punch.
just wanted to be clear to the players and the audience that this isn't a weird, like, personal
Allie G
choice.
wrote the character.
Oh my
Allie's
God.
fault.
Listen, as a player, I'm here for it.
No one said I was bad at following directions. But anyway,
Moving on.
Everybody goes ahead and leaves the Veiled Observatory, heads back into the town of Luer, and makes their way to essentially the one place that you guys know is like the Tavern and Inn, the
One
Gilded
tavern that's
Ore.
open.
Yeah, I think it's really the only tavern in this place, just because, again, like, given the state of the town and things like that,
I thought Luer was massive.
it is. They don't get a lot of tourists, though. It's not like one of those kind of places. If anything,
Oh, like they don't have a lot of hotels
What do you-
because there's not many.
Oh, we're
coming.
saying tavern. We mean inn.
it's a both. It's one of those like tavern
So,
and inn
yeah.
places.
People don't go out to eat.
That's where you get the food.
It was like the one in
Hoppo Hills.
Hop Out
Yeah.
Hills.
You guys stayed there.
Yeah, but
once.
Hop Out Hills is small.
Yeah, so essentially, right, if you look at it about this way, think of like monasteries and different places, like they have places for people to stay that worship those like deities and go there to seek worship, seek that kind of stuff. As far as people just coming to
I
the
was
town.
picturing I was picturing this as being like there was also a bustling city of like trade and like all of that also existing.
It's also
But
like
if it's just
10:30
religion, that
p.m.
makes sense.
I mean, yeah, like the economy of this town is very like, there's a market, there's things and stuff like that. They
Okay.
they ship things, they trade, merchant carts and stuff leave, whatever. But a lot of it is, as far as lodgings is concerned, there's a lot of it's a lot of locale. There's a lot of people staying at the different temples and things that they seeking pilgrimage to, essentially. Gosh, just like I had like a freaking like eyelash or something. So essentially, it's not just. I mean, the tavern and inn is pretty big too. The Gilded Ore isn't just like a little place. It's like large. It's got multiple floors and stuff for different rooms. So yeah. So this is essentially the main place that like people go to. Yeah. So you guys head back to the Gilded Ore. Essentially, this late in the evening, there's some patrons and stuff. It's sort of busier, given that like people are blowing off steam. It's like late at night. Again, it's a town full of religious people, but they're not just like tight-necked like stiffs. So essentially, it's busy as you guys walk in. There's like a table or two open. The lodgings and stuff that you guys had before. Essentially, there's still that same like vacancy. You guys may have paid for the day, but you didn't give up your keys. You're kind of still staying in the area. So it's not like you have to like kind of find a new room or whatever. You guys have like the rooms that you had before. Saeble would be the one that essentially, if she's staying with somebody, or would need to get her own room.
Eliana, since we stayed in a room together last night, is it okay if Saeble we just do 3 in a room, or do you?
We can do that. Unless Lillian, do you want to share a room?
Well, I mean,
I can get one for Mom and Gren.
and she looks at Freya and Grin. I think, yeah, it's not like it's going to take days to get home. I would assume that, we just need you just take us where the crossroads is, and we can sleep in our own beds tonight, in theory.
Do you have beds?
We have a home.
Eira looks at Eliana confused.
Back in the Feywild.
She thought it was set on fire and that it was gone and had been attacked
Yeah.
by the Lich.
Is
and
it okay? I know we rebuilt a little bit after the first one. I didn't know about the second time.
The house was never affected.
Okay.
You remember from seeing in the vision that it essentially was like
Remember
there was
the
things being
windows were
attacked.
blasted in.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
You didn't get caught up under the rubble of that until
Okay.
it was only the first one with the Lich.
Gotcha.
The second one was you walked outside and you saw like there was dead bodies, the dead
Yeah.
people all around and stuff. So essentially it was rebuilt and stuff like that, and it could have been minorly affected as far as like things is concerned. All the more reason, especially given that like time moves differently in the Fey realm, that they would probably be more adamant to go back now that the threat's gone, if they need to fix things up, or because not everybody's a fucking saint. So we could loot and shit. You don't know.
So do we need to
Takes a village.
take them back then?
I mean, we can get some food first, and I mean,
Okay.
we did eat and have dinner. I mean, so it's
We
not like
gotta
we're
get a
super
sending
hungry.
stone. I don't know if any place is open to get a sending stone, though.
They're expensive. I've only ever gotten them as gifts or found them in boxes.
Mine was 50 or something for the pair. 50
I mean,
gold.
Damn.
You essentially you can if they want to go to sleep and eat and stuff like that, then you can essentially like those two can go to sleep, and then
Yeah.
you guys
Okay.
can go off and
Yeah.
look for a sending stone or see if some place is open. It is late, so could be a hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a... There's the bar top.
Mm-hmm.
She's... you're just going to walk over, wave down the bartender. Question.
Yes.
Is there a food Leonin in the area?
I don't believe so. We do have some shops and things, but I don't believe anything like that.
Okay. Anywhere open this late? Looking for a pair of sending stones. Some family's about to head off, and
I would say try the Tidewater Market. It's a lot of interconnected pontoons and a lot of trades of different things there. Some places could still be open or getting any... That kind of looks outside the window. It could be getting close to shutting down, so you might be able to catch something in time, but
thank you.
still, you know.
Thank you. We'll run there and then come back and get food.
I'm going to turn into a bird so I can get there faster.
Okay.
I'll be, hey, Mom. I'll be right back, okay?
Well, we're gonna go ahead and head. Or should we head that way? Which way is closer to where the crossroads were earlier? To go with her, or to stay here, have her come back, and then I don't know. And like, is it
Essentially, where you are is closer than where
Okay.
the markets are.
okay? We'll wait here then.
Okay.
I'm gonna dip in and out. I'll be back. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
So you essentially like kind of go out the front door and then like you kind of see it from the sky. You see that there's like this market that's kind of a chaotic blend of different floating stalls and anchored boats kind of sitting amidst this like marshy part of the swamp that's kind of towards the edge of the town. Awnings and canopies that are like that would provide shade and there's on sunlight. Lots of things like certain fishing ones that are nets filled with like dried fish, shells hanging along edges, things like that. Each stall has a kind of a unique setup. There's like a gnome that's selling enchanted it's selling like fishing supplies and lures. There's a tabaxi that's kind of offering hand woven charms. A lot of the shops are like kind of like closing their awnings and pulling down for the day. There is some small conversation and things. You see a turtle that's kind of has some shells that are covered in barnacles. Looks a bit older. That is kind of just like sitting in like a rocking chair on the like edge of his boat with the kind of awning still up and has like a small pipe in his hand. Is kind of like puffing on some like it looks like tobacco or something. Is from what you can smell as you get closer. And it looks like he sells like magic things or like would potentially have something like that if you inquire.
I'm gonna land. Tweet a few times, and I'm gonna turn it back into Eliana.
Says, oh my!
Sorry.
Jeez!
I knew you guys were closing soon, so I wanted to get here faster.
I mean, my shop's not closed yet, but gosh, you have a total heart attack.
I'm so sorry.
We get a lot of birds. I gotta check and make sure it's not people. Jeez. What can I do for you?
Hi, I am looking to procure some sending stones, preferably ones that go across plains easily.
Quite specific.
My family lives in the Feywild.
The chair creaks as he kind of stands up. He says, and there's like where the awning is. There's kind of like this like bench, and then there's like he kind of you hear him kind of like rummaging around in some like crates or something behind there, and there's like a lot of like things just like kind of chattering and clankering around. You see a couple of things of him like kind of like tossing some things as he's trying to like look for, and he essentially comes back and he pulls out these like two kind of like, they look a little bit like the sigils on the front look a little bit faded. They look a little kind of rougher on the edges. The carvings of the sigil for sending and stuff like that in them is, there's like some chips and some like wear and tear. And he says, "Oh, I got these pair of sending stones, but I mean, they should work in theory. I mean, we don't get a lot of people asking for sending stones around here, so I mean, anytime I've ever used them, they work. But it's about 50-50 shot."
Can we do a little test on that before I make a purchase?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So you, are you going to send, or do you want him to send you the message?
I want him to send me a message.
Okay.
I'm gonna go like 20 feet away. Make sure it works.
So you go 20 feet away, and you hear like after a few minutes, like, do you hear this? Is it working? Anything? And that's all that you
I wait a little bit. I'm faking him out.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
And then she runs back over.
Okay.
How much for this? For these? For the pair?
You look. Given the place that you're in. I mean, what's your offer?
Well, my friend got a fully working pair for 50, so if these work 50% of the time, you know.
I mean, even as old as they are, they're still worth a pretty penny. So, you got a pair for 50?
Yeah.
Better not going back to that merchant that sold them to you, because you never know. Sometimes the shelf life of those things, if they're cheap, may not last long. But these ones have been around. I've had them kicking around for over a decade, and they're still kicking. So I guess that's a good sign.
Sure the batteries aren't going to run out anytime soon.
What's a battery?
It's this renewable energy source.
What's that?
You know, some people just don't know. That's okay.
Right. That's what I'm asking.
Have you ever heard of flosseted?
Have you heard of our good Lord and Savior?
Pulls out the pamphlet. The reusable energy of the stars.
Yeah.
God bless. Can't say that I have.
She can renew us with a bunch of energy. Look at these stars up here.
Yeah, I've been there my whole life. It's not like they're going anywhere.
Yeah, and she made them. She brought them to us.
I guess somebody had to.
Well, you know, they wouldn't be around anymore if I didn't save them, so.
Right, do you have an offer for the sending stones, or,
Look, I'll give you like 45 gold. Since they work half the time, my friend got them for
Well, I said
50.
it's a maybe. I can't guarantee that it's a 50-50. They're pretty old.
Right.
You have a better offer?
So they're unreliable is what you're telling me.
No, they're reliable.
But you said maybe.
I mean, there's no way to know. We won't even know until tomorrow. So if you need it right now, I don't
think you're a very good salesman.
think you're a very good patron.
Well, I guess I'll try and find somewhere else to get some then. Look at them. They're so old. Their markings are almost gone.
I'm old too, and you think I'm still kicking, doing fine.
I was gonna say something really mean, but I feel like Eliana's not that kind of person.
What the hell? Just don't go scaring anybody as a bird anymore.
I'll try my best.
You do that. And so you give them the 45 gold.
Yeah.
Really wasn't going to haggle you either. Doing that voice is kind of
Outlast the DM and you will get your sending stones.
Those gravelly voices.
Literally, though, when you gave Verity sending stones for 50 gold, I was like, holy shit. And I was like, I'm going to fucking riff off of that.
So you get the sending stones.
It's better be worth it.
I just so you're aware.
She said that to herself, not to the
No, I know. I'm letting you know as a player.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to flip this every time you use it.
Awesome. Fuck yeah.
Just because he could have very well sent you like old ass ones that are a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I make my way back to the inn.
And it's funny because he said that. Now Eliana has the knowledge that the sending stones that you're this grinding stone that's like Cindy has, they essentially could have a shelf life of like a couple months and they could just fucking stop working because they were so cheap and being mass produced.
Damn. Yeah, you better fucking figure out your thing with...
Mine was fancy turquoise looking.
Those damn scry phones, I tell you what. Need a new one every fucking year.
As soon as you pay it off, it dies.
Mom.
Okay, so you go back to the Gilded Ore, and you essentially, they're just waiting. Essentially, you were maybe gone like 20, 30 minutes at most between the time it took you to get there, the conversation, and then coming back. I'd say maybe like 20 minutes. And yeah.
Got one.
Oh, great.
They're a little faulty.
Well,
But-
I mean, beggars can't be choosers, dear. I mean, it's just good that we have them.
Yeah.
And so she takes the sending stone from you. Well, what's the agenda now? What?
I guess we're gonna get you guys home.
All right. I lead the way, I guess.
Okay.
So she goes off with her family. Is any of you, since it's Verity and Saeble, I would assume gone off to bed potentially.
Yeah.
Eira and Jax, are you going with them? Are you staying here?
Scary dog privilege. Yeah, Eira's gonna go.
Okay.
It's late. Rihanna's little.
Given that Jax needs the 8 hours of sleep,
'Kay.
he's probably going to stick back at the room for now.
Eira's gonna leave Oyer with
Okay.
him.
So him, Cole, and Oyer kind of head up to the room. Gives you like a kiss, goodbye. Essentially, well, good night. Or essentially, if you come back and he's sleeping or whatever, not goodbye.
You
God
said
bless.
you said if you come back, and I was like, oh.
I said if he's asleep when you come back.
Yeah. I read the rest of it, but
You get kidnapped?
yeah, right.
So,
Like that.
you essentially, you go off with Eliana and her family to where the crossroads is. And so you make your way through. Oh,
Who's
it's that
that?
voice. Whenever you transition away from the tavern, it does that every time. Shout out to Pocketbard, but weird. So you walk through the streets of Luer, and you kind of go down those like different alley passages and the different things, and make your way to where the fake crossroads was. And you see, I think I said it was Lillian that knew the spell.
Mm-hmm.
She performs the crossroads spell, and it kind of essentially like the gate like opens.
Can I observe her doing the spell
Sure.
and try to like
Understand it?
put it in my pocket for later?
That will be do an Arcana check, essentially to see if you retain it or not.
Can I guide her?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I use enhance ability?
Sure.
Add a D4.
I could freaking find my.
Do you still have the potion thing? Is that still in effect?
No, it'll
No, that
last like an
lasted
hour.
like an hour. Yeah.
Oh, that was
This-
24.
Eira quietly and calmly pulls out a blueberry muffin.
Was it 24 hours
What?
on that intelligence potion that you gave?
I already deleted it from my inventory.
Rest in peace.
Oh.
Oh, I
Rip.
mean, I can look at it. It was a potion of supreme intelligence.
Yeah.
I think it was a homebrew item. Oh, okay.
It was something that was in the thing. But it's a good point. I think it was.
Holy fuck, my Arcana's good.
It was an hour.
Oh, it was
it was
an
only
hour.
an
Okay.
hour. So yeah, it's gone.
Where's the shot?
That is, here, let me cast my enhance ability. That is going to be a 23.
Okay, 23. So essentially, you observe her doing the spell, enough to like mentally kind of commit it to somewhat memory.
Mhm.
I will say, if you ever tried essentially to reproduce it,
Be a
you would be a
check.
performance check and
Mhm.
stuff just to see if it works or not, or if you remembered it correctly. But so essentially the kind of behind the temple, the like kind of like blue door like opens up, and the same guardian that like you guys had kind of witnessed before
Eira.
was kind of
Eira pops over to the sister and it's like, give this to him. Give it to him. It's warm.
Blueberry
it's,
muffin.
Yeah.
It's warm and
Okay.
like ready to go. Like, yeah.
damn Saeble.
Give this to
She
him.
gets one, the guardian of this crossroads gets one before Saeble.
We're not friends yet. We're only acquaintances.
So you essentially, Lillian's like, oh, okay. She goes, I present you this muffin, and it's like, all right, I guess that'll do. He kind of like, he like takes it from her, he kind of like takes it from her hand and like sticks it in his mouth. It's kind of like a small candy almost. He's just like,
Pupils dilate.
so,
It's the best muffin
you're
ever.
the same couple of people that, yeah, no, not you guys.
We're not. Don't worry. We're just dropping them off.
He looks down at Lillian, Grand and Freya, and is like, kind of squinted eyed, and like, you see him kind of like peer out of like the doorway and kind of like, you smell like you're supposed to be here. Okay. And then he kind of looks at you other three and is like,
What other three?
1, 2, 3.
Jack stayed back.
Oh, that's right. The other two.
He's seeping.
Then he looks at the other two with that same like.
I mean, technically, I'm also from there, but I'm not going back right now.
Yeah, but I kind of like leans in and like,
Don't sniff me.
yeah, I think yours wore off.
What?
You've been here too long.
Okay.
Nothing personal. I just have a job to do.
What if I wanted to visit sometimes, like my family?
I mean, you're gonna have to earn favor and passage like everybody else.
How do I do that?
You have to ask. Can't afford it.
You're telling me an Elijah elf can't come home?
I guess you're gonna have to figure it out.
I'm trying.
Aww.
Yeah, but you're asking the wrong guy.
You're the bouncer
You
here.
gotta win me over. If I'm telling you how to do it, then anybody can just do it.
What if I give you a little hug?
The sentiment's nice and all, but
Oh. I don't think he likes me. Or...
You know how to play any music?
No.
Do all of y'all like music?
Yeah. You don't like music?
No, I do. It's just the last guardian that I talked to just was absolutely obsessed.
So, some people get a little into it.
I can make you some nice...
I dabble. Some people are weird about it. That's not me.
Eira's just going to learn how to carve like ocarinas and just have them in her pocket to just like get these guys.
Well, I guess I'll figure it out next time I want to visit.
Sounds like a good idea.
I'm going to get my family some hugs.
Yes, well, I'll just be here, I guess.
Hey, do you have family?
No.
That sucks. Sorry about that.
I just exist. That's kind of how it works.
Well, I hope someday you feel truly loved and appreciated by people that care for you.
That
I
muffin
do.
was made with love.
I know, I could taste it. It was weird.
Did it make it sour for you?
No. And self-love is the best kind of love. So maybe take a look at that in the mirror, guys. I don't know.
Trust me, I love myself plenty.
Why is this guy so mean?
Emotions are constructs.
Hey, honey, can you focus on saying goodbye to your family? I don't know when you're going to see them again.
I love you
Oof.
guys. Hey.
That's heavy.
Hey.
Don't
I
interrupt.
don't want to hear from you right now.
Don't interrupt.
Well, if you're going to win a favor to get through a crossroads, you're sure doing a great job.
I'm just trying to say bye to my moms and my sister.
What are you still talking to me for?
Go away. Lillian, you're gonna do great. And you're gonna put in your own little pizzazz when you're telling people about Flossidus.
I'll be sure to use that word exactly.
Yeah.
And she kind of tossles your hair again.
Yeah.
And you hug her, and it feels different than when you first saw her, and so it kind of almost has a little bit of a coldness because of her winter form. Not in a emotionally cold, but in a physically cold. So she squeezes you a little bit tight. You can kind of you hear some of the not in a crunching breaking ways, but you hear kind of the leaves in your hair. As she hugs you tight.
She never hugged me like this.
You're the head of the circle.
And Mom, I love you, but don't get too bent out of shape, okay?
I'll try.
Yeah. I know you're trying your best. And Gren, keep her in check. Don't let her, you can let her chill out. You know how to deal with Mom. You know how to let loose.
And Freyona kind of puts her hands on your shoulder and kind of gives you a look up and down and says, "You've grown into such a strong woman, and your dad would be proud." And I know I've been tough at times, but I'm glad that it's your turn to teach me a thing or two.
And it's kept you going, so it's kept you here.
Oh, I know. A few of these gray leaves are from you and your sister for sure. And Gren kind of so Freyona gives you a hug, obviously. And then Gren kind of comes over and says, "Don't worry, I'll help her loosen up a little bit."
Yeah.
I think once the
you've done a lot since you guys got together.
I think once the Florenia's out of her system, it'll
yeah.
so she's but she's "You're doing good, kid."
Thanks.
And both Freyona and Gren kind of kiss you on your forehead and hugs and stuff, and essentially kind of make their way over to the doorway, and the guardian kind of says, "All right, let's go." And they kind of step inside, and they kind of look back and wave as the door like kind of like short shuts and kind of fades away.
You alright?
Yeah, you know, when you just don't see your family for like months and then they're back and then you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you guys in forever. And then you forget how they were, but also you love them, but also they're a lot sometimes.
Remember when we went to see my parents?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she puts her hand out. As if to like gestures or like her like for her to hold, like grab her hand. And then we start walking.
Oh.
Okay.
Fuck you made it.
We're
You
not
made
there
it. It implied something when you did it.
No, it did not.
Verity took it that way.
So you guys make your way back to the tavern, and
Don't look at me. I'm stimming.
At least it's not the microphone.
Yeah.
that's fair. Go ahead and roll for perception for me, please, the both of you.
Both of us?
Oh no. Oh no, your fucking brother's gonna come out of the fucking shadows. That was a wild ride.
19 plus 8. 27.
Dang.
19.
19?
Yep.
So here's the other one that clocks this. You guys are walking into the tavern, and it's a very, like, corner of your eye kind of moment.
I feel gross.
You see, and again, not the Kalen from before.
Oh, okay.
You see the navigator from the ship to Rivermire. Kind
The
of like
dead one?
no,
No.
the one that was alive.
He was the one that
new
got
one.
replaced.
The one that
The one that I have the theory about
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
Not like necessarily walking in the tavern. He's just kind of like walking through Luer. You just kind of see him out of the corner of your eyes. You guys go into the tavern.
This is not for anything related to you. This is a decision-making roll.
Okay.
We're going to do actually a 1 to 10 on this. I don't agree with that. 'Cause I want to tail him. I'm in all black.
Do what you want.
Not enough to make you stop, unfortunately.
Mm.
It's almost like one of those things where, like, if you see something out of the corner of your eye, unless
27.
Yeah. Oh, 27. Lucky I gave it to you with the 27. Because it was a high DC. 'Cause it's not like he was close.
Because a 27 is low, apparently.
It's like if you see it out of something out of like 40 feet away out of the corner of your eye, you're not gonna like.
I don't know. Okay.
It's not like a freaking eagle eye over here. Like,
Do you
like,
point him out?
I mean, I would like. What's that?
I turn.
It's probably gone.
yeah, nothing's over there.
What do you, what?
Nothing.
Okay.
And they just keep going back to the.
Okay. So you guys make your way back up to your respective rooms. Jax is curled up with Cole and Oyer kind of sleep on the bed. And so you turn in for the evening.
I'd like to paint that.
Sure.
It's like how I sleep with Gabe and Ellie. Where Jax is on his side and Cole is up at his chest and Oyer is in the crook of his knees.
Okay.
I mean, she got her long rest,
Okay.
so I would think she would just like. She's got the Book of Gods, so I think she's gonna spend time doing research on something called the Veiled One.
Okay.
See if she can just learn anything.
Okay.
So, yep.
Investigation check. Womp womp.
Wow.
19.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. What do you see when you enter your room? Paint this picture. They don't get to paint it for you. You get to paint this picture.
What do you see?
Because Verity and Saeble are staying in this room.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know.
Just have fun with it.
I'm not the DM. This is power that I'm not familiar with.
Because we're going to yes and. This is what's funny about it.
Take the power.
Verity spooning Saeble.
This is too much pressure.
Verity?
Saeble made her way over.
I like... Wait a second. I feel like this may be an assumption, but what if one of the things on Sable's bucket list is to, like, sleep in a hammock, and so she made a fucking hammock out of, like, the bed sheets? And Verity's just, like,
Interesting.
sleeping on the... But, like, you have no sheets, so you're just, like, on the bed, like, with no sheets. Because she fucking hogged all the sheets to make the hammock.
That's awesome.
I love it.
You're just shivering, you're freezing, but because you're a tiefling, your body's like naturally hot, so like it's not that big a deal.
So you've like taken like your coat, your like officer like your coat, and just like used it as a blanket. I've done that so many times when I was younger, like at a friend's house.
I added it.
That's great. That's great. So you see this like sheeted up hammock and Verity kind of sleeping underneath her coat in this room.
I'm gonna turn into a dire wolf, and I'm gonna snuggle up next to Verity so I can keep you warm. Because you have no bed sheets.
Sable's the worst.
Okay, that's a natural 20. If it would have been like a certain number, that bed would have broke. Because dire wolves are big.
Yeah, they are.
So if
Like
you
the size of a bed.
yeah, you're like a small bear getting into bed with somebody.
He's tiny. Not as tiny
Think
as
like Game of Thrones dire wolves. Like they're big. So yeah, you could curl up next to Verity, and she for sure is warm, all things considered. And you guys, you turn in for just like a sleep, essentially, because you got your sleep, so you're kind of just like chilling. So you got a 19 on the investigation check. There is stuff about gods of fate. Something kind of that piques the interest kind of as you're reading this. You see that like you've heard it from what you're reading. It's known in this book because of given the age of the book and stuff like that. It's called The Sovereign of the Crossroads. It's depicted a veiled figure clad in deep blue. It's a crown of black feathers resting upon her brow, and her like some notions of silver threads, symbolizing kind of paths of foresight and acceptance. Doesn't typically speak, only watches, from what it says. Those that demand to know their fate receive only silence, for she does not tell fortunes, she ensures that they unfold. A lot of the worshipping of it is sometimes kings and queens will invoke her name upon ascension. It's said that when a lone raven with silver eyes perches above a traveler, they stand at a fateful moment in time. And then they follow the raven's gaze to accept destiny, and then to ignore it is to risk the unseen hand kind of tipping the scales of fate. So there's some symbology with like, ravens and things in there. That's about all it says as far as in the book, given like the kind of vague knowledge it seems to have. But yeah.
I'm not going to be able to read this later.
I typed it out. You can take some of my notes.
I'll forget they exist.
Amidst like your reading and stuff, and the inn is quiet. You see people, heard people kind of through the night, kind of turning in. Footsteps that are like people walking to the rooms and things. Given like, I think you guys are probably on like the second or third floor, so like there's like stuff, noises above, noises below. Tavern kind of turning down for the night. At one point in the middle of the night, you hear what would seem like normal footsteps kind of heading towards like a room or walking past. But the footsteps stop. And you kind of look over and you see kind of like the light that would typically kind of be coming under the door, and you see two like shadows standing outside the door, and you hear like
2 people or 2 feet?
2 feet, like
Okay.
what would look like 2 feet, like kind of shadows. You hear like a tinkering with the doorknob or like the locking mechanism. Unsuccessful from what it seems like. They just kind of are there, kind of trying to almost like trying to open the door, trying to be quiet, but they're not. Do you do anything to react?
She's up by the door. She's got a dagger out.
Okay.
And she's standing where the door would open. She's standing where the door would open, so that
So you're standing kind of behind the door.
her game plan will like wall with the door. She's like against the wall here, so when it opens, because what she's planning on doing is taking the dagger and going through the hand that is on the door.
Okay. And so I rolled a 17. And this is without a modifier.
Don't know what that means.
No.
You already said the door didn't open.
So you're kind of like, essentially you're standing like what would be behind this door, right? And there's usually sometimes like,
It'd be on the side of the poster.
right, so like where the door like opens to. You see the footsteps kind of, like the shadows of the feet kind of like move away as if somebody walks away, and you hear footsteps. You linger behind this door for a moment just in case they decide to come back. And the next thing you know, through the wall, a knife like hits just next to your face.
Okay.
Through the wall. Like it's like somebody stabbed like hard enough to get through the different layers of the wall.
I'm going to regret this later, but I'm going to misty step into the hallway.
Okay.
I'm going to use my use of it.
All right. So you misty step into the hallway. There's no one in the hallway. All you
Is there
see
a dagger?
is the dagger stuck into the wall,
Mhm.
and hanging from it
Yes, the thing.
is what looks like a strip of cloth, almost as like, and it's kind of like this cloth that's sort of wrapped around the handle, so it's almost like kind of hanging off a little bit.
I'm
And-
going to cast Detect Magic to make sure it doesn't have anything going on with it before I touch it.
Okay. What you notice on the cloth before you grab it or look at it and cast the spell is that there's essentially a what looks like a small eye, kind of like in like a lime greenish.
Like the Adventurance Eye?
It's essentially this. It's like smaller than what that normally would be. It's very tiny. There's some kind of like linear lines kind of around it with like almost like it looks like a sun, kind of like jagged points, like a sun with a circle around it. And then there's like kind of some lines. It's almost like as if it's like a portion of a symbol it's not like the full symbol itself. It looks like as if it would go on to something else, but it kind of runs off the fabric, and it's like a small ribbon or smaller piece of fabric. You do not detect any. So what's the parameters of detect magic again?
It is. I have a use, so I'm going to use that. For the duration, you sense presence of magical effects within 30 feet of myself. If I sense such effects, I can take the magic action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears the magic. And if an effect was created by a spell, you learn the spell's school of magic.
Okay.
The spell is blocked by 1 foot of stone, dirt, or wood, 1 inch of metal, or a thin sheet of lead. So if they're like behind a wall.
Mm-hmm. You don't see anything around you within 30 feet. It's as if this was just left and somebody left, like in a hurry. Or maybe misstepped themselves away. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. There's no signs of anything.
She's gonna
in trace.
I don't know why I picture there's like a balcony and like the tavern's in the middle, but that's what I picture. She'd like just to see if anyone's around.
This isn't a balcony situation. There's like it's kind of like a hallway, or at least in this part of the tavern you're in.
Mm-hmm.
There is no magic that you're detecting on the knife either.
On the fabric or anything?
On the fabric or anything like that.
Are there any sigils on anything?
Not that
she doesn't want to be tracked, guys.
There's nothing that you see is like radiating. There's no aura on the knife or the fabric or anything like that.
I know I'm not there, but is the dagger, was it through the eye or was it just like
it's just dangling off?
Okay.
It's a broken piece of almost like a part of a symbol. It's hanging off of this wrapped around this knife.
I was just thinking about how Saeble's vision with her god was like someone needs to like slice the eye or some shit. I was like,
there is a portion
matters.
of an eye, yeah, but there's not like a full on eye.
The last thing I'm gonna do is I am just gonna cast Divine Sense.
Okay. And the parameters of that are fiend, right? Like fiend, undead.
Celestials, fiend, undead within 60 feet. And I know it's creature type. In the same radius, you also detect the presence of any place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated as with the Hallow spell.
Okay. Nothing like that pops up. Essentially, you see the aura of Verity in a room, kind of a couple
nearby.
of rooms, a couple of rooms over or whatever nearby.
Mm-hmm.
There are auras from other things, like essentially like if there's another tiefling in the inn that's
but they're
staying
all
in the inn and stuff.
like horizontal, like sleeping.
Yeah, they're like sleeping, they're like laying down. There's nothing that seems to be like hiding behind a corner or anything like that.
Okay.
Nothing, again, radiating off of the knife.
Okay. She's going to take the dagger out of the wall.
Make a constitution saving throw.
Knew it. I did my best, guys. I did my best. This is how it ends.
There's like fucking poison on it.
This is how it ends.
You checked for magic.
17 plus 5. 22.
22.
It fails. The DC was a 23.
You needed to at least get a 20 or above, plus your modifier.
What do you mean?
So, what was your modifier?
A natural 20?
A 19 or a 20, and it would have...
I got a 17.
Yeah. So, you touch this knife, and you feel this... It's familiar sense.
Yep.
As you're touching this knife, you feel as if this isn't a normal, like, school of magic type thing. You feel this... It's almost as if once you grab it... and
this is genetic.
The like little strand of ribbon kind of like hits your forearm or like kind of hits like whatever wrist is exposed. It burns.
I did everything I could, guys.
And you feel this like small twinge of a headache, and it kind of almost like makes you kind of like release the knife, and it kind of like goes like steps like straight into the ground as it falls, as if it's like extremely sharp. And you feel this like kind of almost like, again, it feels like almost like electricity, like almost like if you like funny bone, like hit your funny bone, so it kind of like vibrates or radiates through your like
Does it
wrist and
feel
kind of goes down.
Similar to when she was overtaken by Amarian power in the cave?
A fraction of that, yes.
What's up, bro?
That's all that happens.
Did I take any damage when that happened?
No,
Am I being tracked?
there's no way for you
There's
to
a
tell
delay.
right
There, he hesitated.
now. At this point, like, whether
That's
you
all I
are
need.
or aren't, you don't know if anything's happening.
What time is it? How long has Jax been sleeping?
I would think it's like well into like 2 or 3 in the morning, or at least the equivalency.
How
This
long has
is
he been sleeping?
Haunting hour.
like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. She's going to try to commune with Nylea again.
In the middle of the hallway.
No. Bring in a
No.
room.
Okay. You're just gonna leave the knife in the floor of the hallway.
I don't have any fabric to pick it up with.
You try to like
Kick it and make all that noise. Wake everybody up. Ping, ping.
That's fair. That's fair, yeah.
I mean, she wants to pick it up, but like,
Take like 2 arrows like chopsticks and try to like fucking
Is
pick
there-
it up.
is there an extra pillow on the bed?
I would assume, yeah. Like
She-
this is like a double bed where
She grabs a pillow and like, I have no way to like do this. I have to hold the freaking microphone. But like, dagger, pillow.
so you're kind of trying to like like you're picking up a spill with a paper towel like or
Yeah.
like something like messy on the ground like
Yeah, and just like try to like scoop it into the pillow.
like when your pet gets sick on the floor and you're trying to pick it up.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that was too real. That
Is
was
there-
too real.
Is there like a rug in the room?
No, this one's just like a wooden floor in there.
Do that.
Okay,
like-
she puts the pillow on the ground and then slowly, because I picture Jax is a light, just like you, a light sleeper.
I want you to make a sleight of hand check to see how well
Bitches
this
at
goes
everything.
over.
Anything makes a noise. Who rolls poorly? You roll poorly.
Are you trying to wake him up?
No. Oh, of course you don't roll poorly. That's a 16 plus 4, dirty 20.
Okay, so you essentially like are able to kind of like weirdly like wedge this pillow around enough to like up out of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you're carrying something with like a bunch of big oven mitts and you're like, carrying it into the room. So you kneel down, and
She's locked the door behind her.
that's fair.
Yeah.
And you essentially attempt to commune with Nylea. In something where it's not as if like you're cut off, because it's not the necessary. I don't want you to divulge that assumption.
Yeah.
It's almost as if though because you're not necessarily in like a
Mhm.
holy place. Not that
Yeah.
like taverns or like whatever.
No.
There's not necessarily a way to bridge like
I would
that kind
think
of a connection.
I would think too, like after that having just happened, she would be rattled and it would be hard for her to clear her mind
yeah, hard to
to
focus.
even like
yeah.
get to that place where she's at peace enough
Yeah.
to be like, can we talk?
100%.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
I haven't
that.
had one of those threads to pull in a long time.
There's that Sarah moment.
It's fun.
I'm coining it.
Sarah
This
moment.
is a Verity moment where you're slumped down in the chair.
I guess I haven't had a thread to pull like that in a long time. That was fun.
So you essentially go back into your room.
I
Kind
didn't
of.
meditate in the hallway.
No, I know. I meant like you. I'm just kind of
Oh,
going over
okay.
the course of it. You go back into your room. You try to meditate. You're essentially kind of kept up for a good bit
Do I get those spell slots back?
of the evening.
He's like, no. I'm
I would
just gonna
essentially,
talk.
I guess you take another long rest for 4 hours.
That's how I was gonna ask the same thing.
And so you essentially, the morning comes, you wake back up. It's now daybreak. Sun peeking through the different windows of the rooms that you all are staying in. The warm air kind of fills the space. Yes.
Before Eira and Jax leave their room,
Okay.
when he wakes up, she has taken the pillowcase of the pillow that she used to bring the dagger into the room,
Mm-hmm.
and she's taken her dagger and like ripped the front of the pillowcase off and has the dagger, like the one from the wall,
Yeah.
wrapped in it, kind of like in Half-Blood Prince when Hagrid's like, don't touch the wrappings of the Horcrux.
Yeah.
That's what she's like.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she's gonna throw in an extra couple copper pieces for the pillowcase when they leave.
Okay. He wakes up and he kind of like sees that like the pillow's cut, and give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh, she's not trying to hide it.
No. Just go ahead. This will be good.
9 4 13.
13. So when Jax wakes up, he sees that like the pillow that's essentially like next to the pillow he's sleeping on, there's like in through like the pillow part itself, and like feathers are kind of sticking out. It's like a square, almost like you cut too far deep on a piece of paper, and it's like cut into the piece beneath it.
Yeah.
And so there's like it's like a corner of the pillow piece is like folded over.
Yeah,
with,
she
like,
was so
exposed.
out of it, she didn't even think to take the pillowcase off to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the it's just like this essentially like carving out of this thing. And he sees like a wrapped up like what shape of a knife of some sort, like kind of on like essentially like a small table in the room or something like that.
Don't.
So what happened?
Don't touch that.
What the hell is that?
Do you see the hole in the wall? She points to the hole in the wall.
Yeah, there's like a small like slit.
While you were sleeping,
Bonk.
someone might have tried to break into the room. So I went over to handle it. And then...
And did you handle it?
Kind of. They almost stabbed me in the head. Because I stood there.
Okay,
but then they stabbed through the wall. And then I Misty stepped out to handle it in the hallway where they were. And then no one was there. But then there was this dagger that's in that. Don't touch that. It has a piece of fabric attached to it. Also, don't touch that. Because I don't know if it'll like hurt everyone or not. And then I did a bunch of stuff. And then I touched it. And then it felt like... You know how I went all blue?
Yeah.
When we saved Roman that one time? And it felt kind of like that, but not as bad, strong, whatever. And yeah, my brother or his people are near here, and we should probably go.
He's like, what? And he picks up...
Don't touch it.
The knife, and it kind of like unwraps as he kind of grabs it, because like, and he kind of reaches down, and he picks up the knife. And he's just like, what? And like nothing happens. Nothing's happening.
She comes over and she's like,
kind of like as you touch it. Almost like you're shocking, like if you have static electricity and you like shock into like, and you feel that like twinge.
She touches it. Does it do anything?
That's what happens. That's like, so it's like, and you're like, shit.
Is it a nice dagger?
It looks a little rougher on the edges, but
okay,
it's essentially like it's like a kind of like one of those like almost not like yours, because yours are similar to like short swords and stuff. This is like similar, not in the regalia of Verity's knife as far as length and size. It's big enough that it would go through a couple of layers of wall, and like,
but it's pretty basic. It's a pretty basic blade.
It has some kind of like carvings, like almost like one of those like bowing, like hunting knife, whatever.
Anything identifiable?
No. Unfortunately, nothing ornate or anything that's like distinguished.
This is threads to pull. Take them all.
It's a big knife, essentially, like almost abnormal that just somebody would carry dagger wise.
Did the cloth fall on the floor?
Mm-mm. It's still wrapped around the handle, like as if it's like been tied or something.
Okay.
But Jax is holding it like it's nothing.
Can you wrap that up, please?
I mean, I can just carry it.
You can carry it, but can you carry it wrapped up?
Difference does it's not doing anything.
He saw it like shock me, right?
Yeah, but much like when you touch something with static electricity
and it had a little pop.
Yeah, but it's not like it wasn't loud enough that like it was like one of those where like you hear it normally. Like,
okay.
Are you good about
She wants him to understand.
Okay.
Put it down. So
and he kind of like stabs it into the wooden table.
And then she goes to grab it.
Okay. And make a Constitution saving throw.
8 + 5.
Okay. You touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And
she grabs it. To prove a fucking point.
You feel this almost like it's burning more than it did the first time.
It should.
And you pull your hand away, and an eye is burned into your hand.
See? Am I Jack Sparrow?
The black spot!
We need to get you some dirt.
And you see as you're holding out
Buy
this,
one.
you hold this hand out to him, and it blinks.
No.
Oh! Feyre.
And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Off the Beaten Quest. Hope you enjoyed session 76, Lifting the Veils. Thank you to Pocketbard for all the great music. And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.